become an integral part of our showbiz industry. And it was formally established in Ghana in the 1950s, but until recently, the art form had taken a nosedive. But today, we see how more people are actually getting some love for the art form and whether they are making profits, whether they are making gains, and we look at how to elevate the business side of this art. Let me welcome into the studio my guests. Let me start from Uncle Ken, who is a veteran broadcaster here at Joe 99.7 FM. Uncle Ken, good afternoon and welcome. Showbiz A to Z.
Good afternoon, Kwame, and nice being here, meeting such esteemed friends of the industry.
Exactly.
I'm coming to sit amongst them and learn.
Yeah, I'm also coming to learn.
Yes, that's what I'm looking at.
Exactly. Thank you for coming. And let me go to my big brother. Yeah, he is a team lead for Image Bureau. He's an actor, broadcaster. What else? PR, executive. Baby, a musician, and a musician. George Quay is here with us. George Quay.
Chairman.
Only a musician. Don't you sing?
When did I become your big brother?
But I saw you sing.
Let's clarify that part. When did I become your big brother?
Are you not bigger than I am?
This man. This is how you people bestow ages on people without letting the challenge.
Why you don't want to retire early, eh?
I'm just 28.
Huh?
I'm just 28.
Why are you calculating your age with your... Okay, it's okay.
Go ahead and say it. You know Jubilee House is not far from here, right? Go ahead, I dare you to say it.
with your shoe size.
Okay.
I'll gladly take the rest of the ages you don't want.
George Quay,
Kwame,
how have you been?
God is good. I mean, we've been hanging in there. It's always a pleasure to be back home.
This is home, yeah.
Yes, it's always home. Yes. When we got in, Doc was telling me, oh yeah, you're home. This is home, yeah. A couple of months ago, it would have been the other way around.
Yeah, I was here, you were here.
But I hope you're expecting your disc tape. By this time, Shatawale is in the studio.
Who?
Just giving you a heads up.
Thank you, George Quay, for coming. Now, let me introduce to you one special guest that we have today. Let me do this special introduction. So, she is a theater practitioner and a scholar who is currently a senior lecturer in the Department of Theater Arts, School of Performing Arts, University of Ghana. She's a trained actor, earning a BA in Theater Arts from Rose Bruford College of Speech and Drama, has an MFA in Theatre Arts from the University of Ghana, Legon. She obtained her PhD at Goldsmith College, University of London, with a thesis titled Theatre, Performance, Representation, African Diasporic Identity on the British Stage. Her main area of teaching is acting or devising, and her main research interests are in African diasporic identity and performance. Wow. She has served as the head of Department of Theatre Arts and is currently the artistic director of Ebibi Groma, which is the resident theatre company of the School of Performing Arts. She's currently an elected member of the executive committee of the International Federation of Theatre Research. One of her most recent projects was co-convening the IFTR conference, hosted at the School of Performing Arts under the theme, The Stories We Tell, Myths, Myth-Making and Performance. This marked the first time the Federation had come to West Africa in its 66 years of existence. Listeners, we have Dr. Ekwia Kuma.
Oh, wow.
You know, when I posted the artwork, almost everybody was like, Wachema Dieda. She taught me.
That's where, Kwame, this is my lecture. She taught me 4 years in Legon.
4 years in Legon?
Yes, that's my lecture.
Which means today we've
she
come
taught me acting.
For lectures.
Yes, not just me. Ajite Anan, Nadia Buari, Rosalind Ngiza, David Oscar, you name almost all of them. Almost all the popular faces, you know.
Okay, so those of us who were not lucky to have been in your department, your school, we are going to learn today on this show. Yeah. Join 99.7 FM, and we'll also be joined by Latif Abubakar, who is CEO of Globe Productions, and then Chief Moomin, who is also CEO of Bamboo Heritage, right? Yeah, he's making greater strides outside the country. Now, let's start with the lecturer. Yeah, let's start the basis. Let's learn, the foundation before we get into the business side of it. So, Doc, okay, even before we go into this in earnest, let me ask you, for how long have you been in this industry? Industry as in been acting and been imparting knowledge onto people.
First of all, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Now I feel as if maybe I have outdone myself. I apologize if it sounds a bit too verbose. So yes, in my profile you read that I'm trained. I finished my training back in 96,
Wow.
I believe. My first professional job outside of
96.
Ghana.
Wow.
1996.
I was in class 6. Okay.
Yes, I'm revealing my age. And so that's when I started acting
Great,
professionally, doing
great.
it and getting paid for it,
Wow.
and thinking, what a wonderful life that what I love doing, I can get paid for it and spend the money next week, and then I'll be paid next week and play. So it was wonderful. But coming here to Ghana, I came to do my master's at the School of Performing Arts, which for me was just a wonderful space because everything performance was captured in one school. I came on holiday for 3 weeks, ended up staying for 3 months because of the School of Performing Arts, actually. I came on holiday, I came with a friend, a Jamaican friend, and we were both straight out of drama school.
Wow.
And we just kept extending our tickets and staying in Ghana, and joined classes at the School of Performing Arts, Mr. Newman's classes, Sandiaka's. He allowed me to be an occasional student. And so it has come round full circle that I then had the opportunity to come and be one of the first cohorts of the MFA program, which was started in the Theatre Arts Department. And when we completed that back in 2000, so I came in 98, finished in 2000, and people like Efo Kujoma was one of my colleagues, if I can say that, of blessed memory. Godwin Kote also was my mate, also of blessed memory. We were 10 in all. And then I got the opportunity to be employed by the university.
Wow.
So coupled with working as a lecturer, I've also performed. Any opportunity I get to mount a stage, I will take it.
Wow.
So I've been, I think, very lucky to be able to carry on the two streams. People say those who can't teach, which I think is crap. I can, and I teach it as well. And I think I probably have the best of both worlds.
Interesting. The first time I saw you on stage was at Nanasas' Mental Pictures at the Accra City Hotel. I even interviewed you. I was at the other side, at my former station. And that was when I asked Apioko, who is this woman? It's like, oh, she's a lecturer. I said, hey, lecturer on stage?
We must practice, right? Practice makes perfect. We must continue to practice.
Yeah. So let's get down to business. What is theater for those of us in your class today?
Are we in class? Well, in your introduction, you said it starts from Greece.
Okay.
I will beg to differ.
Okay.
We go way
back
to Egypt. I'm happy that Mr. Abubakar is nodding. George is nodding. Yes. We go way back. It is from actually Egyptian performance. If you're talking about theater. Then you come to Greece, then you come to Rome. I mean, we do all this historical teaching in our classes. But theater is any performative act, and you can think of theater in its broader sense, which encompasses music, dance, and drama. Any performative act that then has participants and has spectators.
Okay.
So that essentially, in a nutshell, is what theatre is. It becomes theatre when you add audience who are observing or witnessing an act. And so you can say that that happens all over the world. It's not in only one part of the world. When we tend to think about theater, we tend to think about it as a Western concept. But we have theater here in Africa, right here in Ghana. When you are born and you invite people to come to your naming ceremony, that is a theatrical event. We enact the birth of the child. We enact the naming, and we either name them after somebody who has died, or we give them a new name to look at what their future is. And when you look at that, theater really is a representation of life, and that life is dependent on whoever creates that theater, how they see the life. So the life could be beautiful and rosy, everything. You have all these different forms of theater, such as comedy, tragedy. I don't know if you want me to go into all of this, but essentially theater is a performative act that has performers, or those who are involved in the activity, and people who observe it, who are spectators of it.
Wow. Now, let's know the difference between these words. Most times I don't know if we use them wrongly. Theater, play, drama.
Okay. George, you can answer this.
George.
Oh, but my lecturer is here.
But you have not forgotten. But you
you
were
ask my
taught.
lecturer.
You were a good student. You were a good student. You were a smart student at school.
He was.
Don't disgrace your teacher.
Well, I think I have defined what theater
is already.
Theater, and I think it is important for us to see it in its broader sense, because when we think about the School of Performing Arts, it is the hub of theater studies in its broader sense. Drama is a drama. It's a shame to use the same word, but it is an action. People will say it is a doing word. It is a creative piece that has highs and lows. It has a beginning, it crescendos to a climax, and then it dies down. It is conflict, essentially. There has to be some conflict for there to be drama. Thank you. There has to be two people can be involved in a conversation, and it can turn dramatic because two people are pulling in opposite directions. And you can say it can be man against me. I'm quoting Prof now. Man against, it's going to say
Man against man.
Yeah, so man against man kind of conflict. Man against nature. And then what is the third
Against
one?
himself.
Yes, exactly.
Good student.
Thank you. So these are definitions of drama. You can, right now in our modern times, people can come up with other definitions, but essentially the foundations of it, if you look at it, no matter when we talk about modern theater or modern drama, these are at the core of it.
And the play?
And a play, people tend to limit it to a written text, but it doesn't have to be. But what we know it is a play that has a beginning, middle, and end. It is a document that you can see, but you can also create a play and not have a finished text at the end. So people can devise and put something together, a creative piece together that can be considered a play. But we mustn't limit ourselves to thinking it has to be absolutely written.
Wow. Awesome.
Kwame,
Uncle Ken,
can I ask?
You can ask before we go. You can.
Doc, so does the audience for theater have to be live?
They don't have to be.
For it to be classified as you did, does it have to be live?
They don't have to be. Now, this was a question that came up during the COVID period, because that is actually what makes theater so unique. It is the human connection. Live, breathing bodies responding in the moment to the activity, which makes it different from when we're using screens, when we have film and TV. So there is something unique about being on stage live and then seeing your audience responding directly to you. So that is how we have considered theater,
Okay.
and defined it as that.
Okay.
But when we went into COVID, now we're saying, are we still doing theater when people are sitting behind screens? We tried, and because we needed to, there was a yearning for humans to want to meet with other humans and experience these emotions together. And we are trying to see if we can break through the screens in some way. We were in a pandemic. It was a world crisis.
Right.
But still people were yearning to meet with other human beings. So there were questions around whether we can still call it theater.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can say that there is a mediated audience because the participation is different. And there were many productions going on where they had audience members showing their responses to the activity going on through screens. And that is all in a bid to reconnect the audience and the actors or the cast or the performers to find a way of connecting these two. I think.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, okay.
My senior most lecturers said that theater is basically a performance. That's it. So then, of course, we consider the live audience as part of theater.
Okay.
But now, COVID taught us a lesson. we had to, have a shift. And in fact, the reality is that theater is a performance.
Yes.
Okay.
And we are okay with that. It's simply a performance.
Okay.
Whether we have audience there or not. It's a performance.
GQ, any opinion on theater before we move forward?
Let's try and make it simpler for those who are not technical.
Yeah, like me.
Because almost all of us here are very technical.
Yeah.
And we've had various experiences with theater at various levels.
Obua.
Ken, I miss you too. When you go through school, I'm sure everybody might have heard the word theater before when they are teaching you about writing or reading.
Yeah.
You'd get to experience poetry, drama, prose. These three, in a way, all connect to theater. What is prose? When you take your basic novel or any form of writing, it doesn't follow any meter, it doesn't follow any form, it doesn't follow any specific rhythm or rhyme or anything of the sort. We're just telling the story as it is. It's just a narrative. That's prose, But when you come to poetry, for instance, someone like Shakespeare writes in iambic pentameter. Others have their styles. There's rhyme, there's rhythm, you name it, various different styles. It follows a specific structure. And even based on the number of lines, you could have a name for it. There are sonnets and stuff like that, Then a drama is, as my lecturer rightly defined it, So basically, you can look at it from this perspective. But even in poetry, for me, is a theater performance.
Yeah.
And I was saying on a Springboard show the other day that when you attend any music concert, be it Rapaholic, be it Samini Experience, be it Freedom Wave concert, be it Stone Boys concert, or any concert at all, it is a theater show. Every music concert is a theater show. It's just the presentation style that's different.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, close your eyes, when you take away the music, what made Michael Jackson? It wasn't the music. It was all the act, he's coming out from some hole, he's coming from the air, some wind is blowing, and some animals are coming from somewhere. When you watch the Remember the Time video, it's a whole theatrical performance set in Egypt. You understand, with Eddie Murphy and Iman, exactly, and all that. You understand? That is theater. So, theater is all around us. It is. It's all. When you go down to Jamestown right now, there's either they block the street for an outdooring or a funeral.
That's
or something.
theater.
It's happening. It's theater right there. All this Wulomore has married somebody. It's all a theater. It's a show that everybody is talking about. What makes it controversial or otherwise? It's a level of understanding or the kind of education that has been done to sensitize everybody to accept or question it. That is where the conflict usually comes in. So,
all right, thank you. Joe 99.7 FM. Today we're looking at the revival of theater in Ghana. and we look at how we can make it more vibrant. 055-1111-997. Let's hear you. Now, let's broaden the discussion. Let me come to you, Latif. What would be your general assessment of how far we fared when it comes to theater in Ghana?
Good now, but not what we expect. So when I say good now, on a scale of, let's say, 1 to 10, we were around a 1%, and now we are around the 3 to 4 mark. So there's progress.
When were we at the 1%?
Oh,
which period was this?
So the
Not too
period
long ago.
yeah, so I think the period from the 2000s.
Oh, okay.
2000s, I mean, we were not having a lot of theatrical performances. It started in 2008 properly. So we were having, but when we say we're not having, so you would have a performance at the National Theatre, and then when you go there, you realize that only about 100 people, 50 people in a 1,500 auditorium. That is where where I would say we were just around the 1%. And we were not having, you were not even hearing about theatres across board. It went off after the 80s plus to 89, thereabouts. From the 80s, it went off. From the 2008, I mean, and I would always say that I started with Uncle Ebo White, where he took it upon himself to begin promoting and making noise when it comes to theater. And he started with an Unhappy Wife, Confused Husbands. Okay, so 2009, we also followed with Romantic Nonsense.
Okay.
And it was boom in 2009. And so from that point, Uncle Ebo has been very consistent.
Very.
It's motivated us to also try to be consistent. And then now we have lots more players within the industry. So many people. I mean, Abuaje has been in the...
Who's Abuaje?
the taxi driver.
George Quay. I love your response. Listen, that's a performance happening here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and luckily for us now, we have so many production houses putting together theatrical performances. I mean, from musicals to melodrama, drama, and so on and so forth. I could count about 8 production houses now putting together theatrical performances. You might not hear most of them because they are working. Trying to pick exactly. They are working, and you could also see that we have some top tier people who are now beginning to be consistent. I mean, like myself, like George Quay and Nashoko, and then Nyansapo is also there. The National Theatre itself is trying to also up their game with regards to their theatrical performances currently. So I would say that it feels good because almost every month there's something going on with regards to theatre. And I'm excited about it. I try to visit the National Theatre often to witness what is happening. If I have the strength to support anybody who is embarking on a theatrical performance, I want to be part of that process.
Wow.
I want to support, and I go all out to make it happen. And that is the joy, because what we are lacking is that the audience psyche about theater in Ghana is extremely low.
Okay.
If you do a research, there are so many people who don't even understand what theater means. So many. So how do you convince them to come and watch a play?
Good.
But if they have a feel of theater, just one, trust me, they would love to come to the theater to watch plays. And for me, anybody at all could win a soul for that industry. So whoever is embarking on a performance, we need to go all out now to support such person so that at least he can win a soul for the industry one way or the other. Currently, we are doing well in terms of the number of people. George Quay is supporting others to make it happen.
Yeah.
If you realize, if anybody is doing a show, he will post it.
Oh, yeah.
He will share it.
Yeah.
He wants to make noise just so people know that the industry is gradually and picking up one way or the other. So we are doing well, but not close at all to where we need to be.
Thank you, soul winner Abubakar Latif. Judge Quay,
Yeah.
Latif has scored us 3 out of 10. How will you score us now, theater in Ghana?
It's hard to score. And let me also start by saying a big thank you to Uncle Ebo White, because after Doc trained some of us, we disgracefully abandoned it. Not entirely, because you see, we went into television production and event planning, which was also part of our training.
Yeah.
So we were kind of doing what we were trained to do. I deliberately left theater to learn other things that I thought I needed to learn.
Wow.
Theater came to me naturally. It was easy.
Yeah.
You know, and so I decided to perfect events and did it with the best when it comes to events in Ghana, Charter House. Thanks to them. But I never thought I would find myself back in theater. I would always give the kudos to Nashoko.
Oh.
Because when we established Image Bureau, it was to do events, not theater. But in 2011, we had done Run for Your Wife. Nashoko acted in it as well. She loved it. So she said, Charlie, let's do it again. So in 2020, or was it 2021, we staged it again. The response was good. We followed it up with an adaptation of J.B. Priestley's An Inspector Calls. It went well. And then we decided to challenge ourselves and do something from Africa, The Gods Are Not to Blame.
Yeah.
And by God's abundant grace, it's also gone very well. We've started another one, working on the next one, which is in honor of Professor Martin Owusu, the legend of Akusika. And later this year, Latif, myself, Fifi Coleman, the National Theatre, and other groups, we're coming together to celebrate and honor Ifua Sutherland.
Oh, wow.
In a grand style, yes.
When is this happening?
If she were alive, this year would be her, she would be 100 years this year.
Wow.
So as part of her centenary celebrations, we're going to be doing that. And the family have set up a legacy project, which is to refurbish the Ifua Sutherland Drama Studio at the University of Ghana. So part of all revenue that will be generated from all the performances would go into that. Now back to your question, how to score us. I cannot score us. Again, because there's so much to be done. Latif was right, and he also supports. He goes all out. The final run of The Gods Are Not to Blame, something happened on the stage that a lot of people missed. One of the gods actually appeared on stage.
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the gods actually appeared on stage. You know the scene where Udewale says he was in his farm when a man came to pass and called him the butterfly, thinks himself a bird and all that. So he went to consult an oracle. And he asked the oracle, am I not who I am? And the oracle said, you have a curse on you and all that. That oracle appeared. And Latif made it possible. He gave us a hologram machine to make it happen. Hey! You know. So it was good. You know, I was waiting for reactions. People sitting behind me. When the thing is said, they were like, wow. So everybody was quiet. And then some people behind me, when they finished, they were hoping when the lights come on, they would see exactly what it was.
Yeah.
The lights came on, there was another, Bibi anyhow. You know, so it was good. I've been asked many times why I share everybody's play, even at the time when I'm running my own place and I still see that Latif has a play, I'll still share. Why? Because we cannot compete. We need to collaborate. We cannot compete because we haven't gotten to where the musicians have gotten to. Shatawale and Stoneboy can compete. Sarkodie and Samini can compete. Kim Promise and Kidi Kwame, they can all compete. They can. Because globally, they've gotten that recognition. You understand? I mean, without their music, we wouldn't have a show today. All these radio stations and everybody. People need them to survive. They are quite okay. Aside a few royalty issues and, you know, and all these things. But we are not there yet. Look, the other time I was telling somebody, if Sarkodie stages a show today, Sarkodie can say, I'm charging 700 for my ticket, and it will be sold out. Rapaholic, minimum ticket last year was 500 CDs. It was sold out in a week. Which theater show would dare charge 500 CDs? Latif and I will watch ourselves. we will watch ourselves. We are not there yet. There is still so much to be done. We need to elevate the thinking of people, and you cannot blame them. They consume theater from a place of nothing, and it was free. You know, when all these music groups were going round, Osei Kofi Band and all of them,
Yeah.
Ken will know those people. When they were going, they would have a small, and a lot of these would
Concert
have these
party.
Adwa Smart kind of people and all that. Before the main concert, they would do a little
True.
concert. So the comedies, that one was free. And they were going, so they started, and in our traditional setups, our homes, by the fireside setting, it was all theater. It was being consumed for free. Even the concept of the concert party, then we got it on television for free through Obra, Osofodazi, Cantata, you name it. It's always been for free. So when you now decide to put premium on it, it's difficult.
Why
so
should
I cannot
they pay?
score us because there's still so much to be done. There's still so many minds to change. People need to understand that it is a premium tool. It is just as important as the amount of money you'd pay for that gold jewelry or anything of that sort. So it's hard for me to score us because there is still way too much to be done. I mean, if I cannot charge 300 cedis, how much is 300 cedis in dollars now? How much? Philip, you spend dollars. How much? How much is 300 cedis in dollars?
Me much.
Philip,
It's
answer
about
it.
Do the
$5.
conversion for us.
About $25 there, about 300 cedis, about $25 thereabout. I mean, seriously, come on. $25 for a theater show? No, the minimum you'd watch on Broadway is about what, 55 to $100. You understand? So if you're paying $25 for a show, and the gods are not to blame, cost us about 600,000 cedis to put up. The next one is even more expensive because we're putting a waterfall on stage.
Wow.
So I cannot score us because there's way too much to be done.
Doc is a lecturer. She scores people all the time.
My lecture.
She has been scoring
Yeah.
people. Let me see if Doc can score.
I too have observed the growth of our theatre scene, and yes, I also take my hat off to Uncle Ebo White for rejuvenating the appetite for theatre.
Great.
And being able to fill the National Theatre. That was very key and rightfully opened up doors for others. I would say I might be a bit more generous in my grading. I
Okay.
might go up to 5. I wouldn't
Okay.
put us at 3, but only because I'm happy that the National Theatre is alive again. There are issues with the building itself. But theatre is going on in that space, and that is brilliant. I'm also keenly interested in people who are coming out of the school and getting themselves involved in the many facets that come together to create a theatrical event, like how George says he went away and did other training. I'm interested in our past students who have a basic training in theatre arts. Some, we say, have left the field and have gone into banking, but it also means that when we go looking for funding in a bank and I see a past student, they're like, oh, this was my lecturer. That proposal might move a few steps forward. So I used to bemoan this thing that we've trained you to be in the performing arts industry. Maybe we need to look at what the industry looks like. Have we really made it a space where our students can thrive, or have we given them the tools to think outside the box? So I have gone, I mean, this conference that you mentioned in my profile that we hosted, we needed to get funding for it. We were given some seed money, but we needed to host over 300 international guests at our school. It was a huge endeavor, and we needed to raise funding. And I was the one in charge of raising money.
Wow.
And there were a lot of banks that we went to where there were past students there, where it made certain inroads. And so I began to rethink how I used to bemoan our students not going straight away into the performing arts, but they are going into other areas that feed back into the industry. I'm also interested in students who are setting up small groups. I know that there are students who have come together in their school cohorts, they all left in 1 year. They know that somebody is good with directing, someone's good with acting. We've got stage directors, we've got set designers, costume designers. They come together and put a production together. There's Yep Theatre, Yep Productions. They come to the drama studio all the time. They create new work.
Wow.
There are many other groups like that. There are some current students who have Aya Theatre Company. Also, all men. I'm like, why are you all men? They're like, doctor, I don't know, but they're friends. But they feel that they want to do something in theatre. So I'm interested in where these groups will grow to. It's great to have Ebo White. It's great to have Globe Theatre, Fifi Coleman, George Quays. These ones are also aspiring. Not all of us have to do work that needs to be in the National Theatre.
Exactly.
They are also doing work for the drama studio. They're going into smaller spaces. They are touring. All of these things, I think, will add up to my extra 2 that I will give to the 5.
Doc, let me ask you this question. Some people are of the opinion that the people you train in your department, most times it's more about theory and you don't really teach them the marketing, the business aspect of the whole trade. Do you do that? Because George had to come out, go learn events, go learn other things to complement what he studied.
During George's time, there was stage management, but our curriculum evolves. We do listen to the industry. It is something that we are actively working towards. We have programs like we didn't used to have internships when you were there. Now we have internships. Even the university has rolled out this whole program on internship, but it is something that is part of our curriculum where students get grades or get grades again or credits for doing apart from production participation. They should go out into the industry for 6 weeks and work, so they have attachments. I don't know if we have I'm sure some people come to Joy FM, but they go out into production houses and do attachment to the National Theatre, to ABB Groma and places like that, radio stations, other radio stations. So that is already something that we are now listening to, what our students are coming back and telling us, that we really need theatre management, events management. We do have those programs. And these are specialist areas that level 300 and level 400 students can begin to specialize in, not just theatre management, because we've realized that media arts has become a huge area where students are coming in. They've come from school, have done graphic design, and they think, yes, I think I want to, and now there's a thriving community in our department with the media arts. So within media arts, now they are also combining that with events management. And it's not only in our department, it's also happening in music and the dance departments as well. So we are listening that we need to work more with industry. But you're right, it wasn't part of the foundation. But, from my position, I always think I'm training these students to be artists.
All right.
They have the talent themselves. I give them the tools to be able to use it in a way that they would want to express themselves. Do you see?
Yeah.
But that is me speaking as an actor.
Yeah.
But we do have programs in events management and theatre management, and there's another one, project management. Yes.
Awesome.
So there are those courses available that our students can specialize in, so that when they leave here, they have that background of the performing arts and then this on top of it.
Awesome.
Quickly before you move on, even to add to that, I recall our time, though, it's not so diverse as it is now with so many different options and all that. Even when you picked a production or when you were assigned a production, there were various groupings in that production that would arm you with certain skills that you would need beyond the School of Performing Arts.
Okay, wow.
Because I recall that for a play, each play had the directors, makeup, light, and all those people. There was also a publicity team, and publicity is key.
Yes.
I recall the publicity team for Run for Your Wife. It was look, they worked so they were so crazy. Even Professor Martin also was. You've littered the whole school with Run. Is this the only play we are doing in the school? you know, the guys went all out.
Out,
They went
right.
all out. I mean, everywhere you open the door to a washroom, you pick a chair, and then under the chair they had a Run for Your
Wow.
Wife sticker.
Wow.
The university had just introduced these dustbins, which you step and then it flips open. You step, it opens. There's a Run for Your Wife's
Hey.
poster there. And they went all out, and they gave us crazy ideas, you know, for publicity. So, I mean, you do some of these things in the school, and you come out, and you already have great ideas for. And some of these, you know, ideas have, you know, added to the success that some of us have been achieving on the various projects that we run, the publicity style and all that. So,
Kwame,
Uncle Ken.
yes, interesting learning from these gurus. But I have a question. Isn't theatre elsewhere used very effectively in communicating the visions of governments? Elsewhere, okay?
yeah.
But we don't seem to have that here in Ghana. Because you look at some of these Eastern countries and the way they are able to get the masses through theatre to follow government, projects and stuff.
That's what we will call
effectively.
propaganda.
Yes.
Propaganda theatre.
Yeah.
Yes, there are all these forms of theatre, absolutely. But I don't know if, yes, I would agree that government isn't using theatre in an effective way. There are ways in which policy can be best exemplified through a dramatic
That's right.
sketch.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what I mean, yeah.
All of those things. There's a
The
radio-
colonial masters used that.
Why are we calling them masters still?
Whatever.
They are colonialists.
The colonialists.
That is
Sorry.
it. They are no longer our
They
masters.
ruled over us at the time. That's
And
why.
they have
But
left.
I accept.
The
They
colonial
have
people.
left.
The colonial people.
Yes,
They have left.
I accept that, Doc.
Colonial
And I
people.
apologize.
That is something I tell my students whenever
I
they say,
apologize.
"Oh, who's master? Are they still master over you?"
I apologize. Yes,
Thank you.
yes. Indoctrinated.
Yeah.
This is all part of indoctrination
Yes,
that had
yes,
gone on.
yes.
But they used theatre effectively, and I think it followed on with Kwame Nkrumah
Yeah.
himself,
Yeah.
Osadifo,
Yes.
also using theatre,
He knew the
establishing.
value.
That's right.
He knew the value
knew
of
the
theatre.
value.
And that was why the setting up of Institute of African Studies.
That's right.
Out
The
of which
cultural
School of
centers
Performing- yes.
in various
Yes.
regional
Okay,
capitals.
you know, back in, I don't know if it's still Theatre for Development.
Yes,
It was
yes,
one
yes.
of the courses that
Yeah.
we learned.
It is a huge.
And you see, it still happens in a way, but not on the broad scale
Okay.
as you would expect
Okay.
it to. Because I know that a lot of the time the National Theatre, when people hear National Theatre, they think it's
They
just
look
a
at
building.
the edifice.
Yeah.
No, it goes beyond
Yeah.
the building.
Yeah.
It goes beyond that.
The thing
Yeah.
is that-
Call it- and they do a lot.
Yeah.
in the
They
community.
do a lot in the communities. You understand? They go all out. They do theatre shows to for
wow.
policies
Yeah.
to
They
educate
do.
people. Yes, they do.
you
The
see?
National Theatre, they do that. You understand? They go all out. They go to villages. They go to various communities to educate people, to inform people on various things. They enact sketches.
They do?
Yes, they do. The National Theatre people do that.
Interesting.
They do that. But again, it could be better. It could be better. You understand? I mean, and sometimes even ahead of elections and all that, they go around doing plays
Awesome.
to
Yes.
preach peace.
I mean,
and
Yeah.
teach
Ibi
people how
Gruma-
to vote and
Ibi
all that.
Gruma
Yeah.
at the School of Performing Arts.
Yeah.
We were very closely involved with the census.
Yeah, the
Okay.
census.
In-
Alright.
yes,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, during the COVID too,
Exactly.
we were spreading information
Yeah.
about how to wash our hands and
That's
look
right.
after ourselves.
The hygiene, yeah.
Yes, yes. So there's a lot of sensitization work going on
Okay.
in the communities. But you're right, it isn't
Yeah,
at
so
isn't.
to
that
to
high
add up,
scale where it is,
Yeah.
but it is at the grassroots level where
Okay.
I think it is actually
And
more
that was
impactful.
my most concern.
Yes.
About the grassroots
That is
level.
it, yes.
Because it looks like we are talking about the progress you lot have made
Okay.
in Accra
Yeah.
at the national level.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But down there,
Yeah.
what is happening there?
Yes.
Okay,
You know, because if you let out students
Yeah.
from your
Department.
and everybody centers in Accra, what then happens to the growth
Yes.
in down there?
Yes, you
Okay.
do.
That has been my worry.
Other parts of the country.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we try as much as possible not to do plays just in Accra.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Over the years, almost every
Okay.
year, we do plays in Tamale,
Okay.
we do in Ho, we do in Takrade,
Hey,
we do in
wow.
Kumasi.
And
This
on the
year.
Volta River.
And then on the yeah, we do theater
Wow.
on the cruise.
Okay.
So
Can
we
I
spread-
ask why you chose these specific?
Areas.
Is it because of venue
yeah.
or?
Yes, because of venue, because of being able to recoup some revenue, of it, we do all those analysis.
When you go to Tamale, do you use the local dialect in your place, or you
So
still do
we
English?
We still do
Okay.
English, but you know you need to engage the people. So
Right.
even though you are doing English, you are putting in some Dagbani, some
Right.
Yes.
for them
Right.
to scream.
Okay.
And so we do Radach, and we've done like 7 performances in
Nice
Tamale.
one.
Okay.
The last one was with the Spanish embassy
Okay.
at the Red Clay Studio.
Yes.
Okay.
To us, well, that was last
Mario,
year.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's Mario.
So
Yes.
that was Mario.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when
So-
you do that, the campaign is geared towards that
Yeah, that's-
vicinity.
that-
So we don't
exactly.
hear about it.
We don't. Yes,
Yeah.
we don't
In
hear
Accra.
about it,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
You know,
And also,
yes.
when we had issues of galamsey, we traveled to about 7 cities
Right.
with the media coalition.
Did you
of
say when
galamsey.
we had?
Okay, sorry.
I'm saying no.
It is still with us.
Anyway, I mean, at the peak of it, when it
2017.
first- yes, 2017.
Yeah.
We put together a play titled Saints and Sinners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Performed,
remember.
Yes.
To the chiefs and people of the affected areas, the much affected
Oh,
areas, like
okay.
the Chebi, the Takwa, Obuase. We traveled to about 7.
And they
including
paid
the
to
north.
watch. They paid to watch.
No, it was
No,
more
when it's for
community
education,
development.
you
cannot
Okay.
That's for
charge.
education.
Okay.
You cannot
But
charge.
you
Okay.
get a sponsor for education.
Yeah, we get a
of
sponsor
course,
for it. We had Star Ghana, UKA, USAID
Okay.
for it, and we did something similar on COVID. On
Right.
COVID, at least we had one of the largest views in the world. About 3.5 million people watched
Hey.
online.
3.5.
Yeah,
So
that was the
you
first.
See, Latif, you've been excellent. I didn't know that
Yeah.
you had been doing these things across the country. And I'm only looking at the national level, and I say, Latif had one play 7 months ago.
Yeah.
I haven't heard, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, we
I haven't
travel,
heard
we
Latif,
travel.
not
Yes.
knowing that Latif is using his strategy to do things across the country.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
brilliant.
But what we
I like
lack,
that.
but what we lack, aside giving all these examples, what we lack is a deliberate policy from government, from the presidency, from the ministry, to be able to help us increase the audience psyche about theater
Okay.
by inculcating theater in what they do, like in Nkrumah did.
Yeah.
You see, this is from a private perspective.
Yeah.
We try to gather sponsorship and partnership from our own with our own strength. But how much can we do if there's a deliberate policy that could motivate people to go out there, could push people? I think National Theatre is doing it at their mostly at with their own strength. How much can they do as National Theatre? How much resources do they have
Yeah.
to be able to do this? You understand? So
And you're
I always
absolutely
say that we need a deliberate policy to champion this nationalistic agenda when it comes to theater.
That's what I
Like
was
something
talking about.
Nkrumah did. We need such kind of policy. And
Okay.
that is what I'm looking forward to.
Talking about the regional thing, I've been wondering, how can we also encourage the various regions? We have cultural centers across the various regions to be organizing some of these places.
Have you been to the cultural centers?
Judge,
across
wait,
the
is it not
region?
possible?
Have you
Not been
been
to.
to the cultural centers across the region?
No, please.
Visit them, then we can have this conversation.
They have edifices there. They have cultural.
But they all run down. That's what George is saying.
I know one in Koforidua.
The Koforidua one was resuscitated in a bit, in a way. Do you remember?
Yes,
When this,
it's looking better, much better.
Cape Coast.
You see, the thing is this: we I mean, it is not just theater.
Okay.
I think the creative sector needs a certain level of governmental top attention.
Good.
Look at all the top countries that are doing well globally. They do not joke with theater.
Yeah.
I can tell you for sure that there is a kid somewhere in Accra or in Ghana. It's all through Hollywood.
Yeah.
The children today know Spider-Man. They don't know Kweku Anansi.
No.
You understand? And there is so much that we can do with this sector that we are not. So much. And I keep praying. Then I'm waiting to start hearing the manifestos. And trust me, this year, the government that speaks what I need to hear, as far as the creative sector is concerned, is the government that's getting my vote. The party that's getting my vote. What I need to hear. There are specific things that we need to hear.
What do you need to hear?
Look, I don't want to be the one to feed the manifesto. You understand? But we know the state of the industry. We know the state of the entire industry. We know where we are. We don't have to be told. We know the state of the National Theatre. You understand? We know the state of the conference center. We know. Look, had it even not been for Latif, I don't think any of us could use a conference center for theater shows. He will tell you his challenges that he has. The conference center was not built for theater shows.
Good.
No, it isn't.
It was not built for theater shows. You understand? So I'm waiting to start hearing manifestos. And when I hear those manifestos, the party that says the things that I want to hear as far as this sector is concerned is the party that's getting my vote.
And if they say and don't do,
say, you see, Uncle Ken, that's
first
a
step.
different conversation.
Yes.
You see, saying and doing are two different things.
Yeah.
Expectations and delivery are two different things. It's like getting into a marriage. I've met a girl. I've told her, I've shared my vision with her. I've told her where I want to get to, where I want to take her, where I want to take our family and all that. So she agrees. Oh, okay, I like what I'm hearing. I'll marry you. We get married. Two things could happen, or three. One, I could do absolutely nothing. Two, I could try but fail. Three, I could excel. All these are driven by factors. So for me, it is not really about the saying you will do it and not doing it per se, because when you don't do it, I would like to know the factors that made it impossible for you to achieve what you promised to achieve. If those factors make sense, I would love to give you another chance. But if those factors do not make sense, then you took me for
That's
granted
it.
and made a fool of me.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, Joy 99.7 FM. Let me take a break. When I come back, I want us to talk more about the venues. I understand even the acoustics of certain venues don't allow for proper theater execution, right? Of course. Okay. Still here on Joy 99.7 FM, and we've been talking about the theater revival in Ghana. I have George Kwe right here, Dr. Ekuya Ekuma. She's a senior lecturer at the Department of Performing Arts. Yeah. Ekuwa. Okay. Uncle Ken is here. Latif Abubakar will be joined by Chief Moomin on Zoom. And if you have any thoughts, 05511119997. You know, we all have those days when you are low on everything: energy, time, cash, and even airtime and data. Well, that's why MTN Extra Time is an airtime and data advanced service that allows you to make calls or browse the internet even when you have insufficient balance. All you have to do is to dial star 506 hash, star 506 hash, go through the prompts and select the amount of data or airtime you need. It's more than simple. Doing your favorite things on MTN means you don't get interrupted even when you are low on airtime or data. Please remember that terms and conditions apply. Now this May, at Dancy Travels and Joy FM, I'm about to take you on an adventure of a lifetime. From 21st of May, join Lexus Bill and the Drive Time team as they dive into the soul of South Africa. Experience its brilliant or vibrant culture, stunning landscape, and warm hearts, the warm hearts of the people like never before. Starting at an exclusive promo rate of $1,390 per person. You get to choose your adventure Whether it's the urban pulse of Joburg, the scenic beauty of Cape Town, the majestic mountains of Lesotho, or the thrilling Sun City. And that's you also get to experience the iconic Yvonne Shaka Shaka performing live at the Legends and Legacy Ball on 25th of May at the Sunton Convention Center in Johannesburg. Don't let this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity slip away. Seats are filling fast. So call our Dancing Travels now on 0595500817, or you can visit www.dancingtravels.com to secure your spots. Mother's Day is here with us again in the month of May, and if you are thinking of the best experience to give your mother, wife, sister, girlfriend, or landlady, look no further. Join Clemento Suarez, General Tatia, Kofa Gianni, Edinam Atachi, and more for a special pre-Mother's Day theatre experience at the National Theatre on 3rd and 4th of May 2024 at 4 p.m. first show, 8 p.m. second show each day. It's all about In the Chest of a Woman. Now, this play was written by our own Efo Kojo Maugba, produced by Africa Arts Network. Come, let's dive into the world where power, desire, and resilience collide as In the Chest of a Woman explores the depths and complexities of womanhood, revealing that within every woman lies not just the physicality of her being, but a potent force yearning to be unleashed. In the Chest of a Woman is not only an extension of the breast and the feeble hearts, but a flaming desire to possess and use power. Now, to get your tickets, simply dial star 713 star 33 star 21 hash, or just go to egotickets.com. Better still, use the Express Pay app, or just go to these locations: Airport Shell, Bachona Total, or Spintex Road, Rugs Wache, Silverbet Cinemas at Accra Mall, Gold Coast Restaurant. Don't miss out. Purchase your ticket now. For more information, just call 0541234586. In the Chest of a Woman is powered by Africa Arts Network in collaborations with Challenging Heights. Joy 99.7 FM, and we talking theatre today. We're glad to have in the studio Dr. Ekuma, who is a senior lecturer at the School of Performing Arts, University of Ghana, and Ken is a veteran broadcaster here with us, Joy 99.7 FM. Latif Abubakar, a CEO of Globe Productions. We have George Kwe, who is team lead for Image Bureau, also right here. And on Zoom, we'll be joined by Chief Mumin, who is CEO of Bamboo Heritage. Now, if you have anything to tell us on this topic, you can also do so now. 0551111997, 0551111997. Now, let's come in here again and talk about the venues that we need to stage our plays. Or do we have the venues even across the various regions? Which venues are suitable for theater productions? Let's get talking here. All right, so George Kwe. George.
Yes.
Which venues suit theater productions? What are the features?
Halls that are acoustically right. You need a proscenium stage.
Please, you need what?
A proscenium.
What is that?
Google it.
Me, I did agri science. I didn't do theater arts.
So Google it. I don't know. It's just
spell it for us.
Procenium.
Proscenium. Okay.
Okay, so just Google it and then you would understand what it means. You need that. Or you could also use an amphitheater.
Okay.
You know.
The one they are building for us.
Yes.
Okay.
That one. There's one at the University of Ghana behind Commonwealth.
Oh, yes,
You
yes,
can go
yeah.
take a look at it.
Yeah.
And then you see it. But the key elements that you need, if you're looking at a modern day theater, then you need one with an orchestra pit. Fortunately, a national theater does have an orchestra pit. But that's about the only exciting thing about the stage, because stages that we have now can do crazy stuff that you have no idea of. crazy, crazy, crazy things. There are stage floors that can give you the opportunity to create rivers, create deserts, and all that. Stage floors that can give you mirror capabilities and everything. Stage floors that give you opportunities to light from the ground. Stage floors that give you the opportunity to use various hydraulic systems. So somebody can come from a hole. You can create graveyards where, people, dead bodies, zombies can come out.
Yeah.
But we are limited here. If you want to do something like that here, you'd have to create a stage on a stage.
Okay.
Yes, and that's money.
Can
That's
I
money.
jump in?
Please jump in.
I need to jump in.
Do that, please.
All of this, yes, is very possible.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, the first time I experienced theater was in my church in Ho. I grew up in Ho.
Okay.
And we were doing church stories. And I was completely blown away by, and my sister was playing, I was little. I was very, very little. My sister was playing God. My other sister was playing the story of the brides with their lamps, those who came without the oil in their lamps. And I learned everybody's lines, but I was too little to play a role, and I played a sheep. So that was my role, my first role on stage. But I was completely blown away by this. My imagination was opened by telling these stories. So yes, it is great if you have the money and the facilities and the proscenium stage. But we just had a church hall. You can also create, so from there, that has stayed with me. My professional life started in taking theater into school halls, going to schools. They don't have the money. They can barely pay for us to come and do the production. So for us, it was about creating magic in a child's school hall so that they are introduced to opening up their imagination. So it can happen as long as we can build and create this imagination for this young child, which happened for me as a child. That for me is where I think theater can happen. It can happen as long as we are encircled
I was
around.
looking at it more from a professional
from a professional point. So I'm saying all of that is there. And it doesn't only have to be a proscenium stage. It can be in the round. If you go to the Ifwa Sutherland Drama Studio, it has three stages. It has a proscenium. Because we've had our history, so these were vestiges that came with the colonialists when they brought their theatre. But we already had our own theatre, which happened in the round, which was in our festivals, in our storytelling, in our exactly. Yeah. All of those things. And then we also had an end stage. So when you come to the Ifwa Sutherland Drama Studio in the School of Performing Arts, you have the choice of 3 stages upon which you can perform your work. Okay. We tend to go for the proscenium, but we have to be more intentional. And actually, when we're talking about how do we get the grassroots involved, how do we make them see that this is something that they are participating in, the round really is the best arena, pun intended, for everybody to feel part of the event, not the separation that you are up on the stage, we have to sit in this row of chairs and they are elevated and we are sitting, and what all of those things make you feel like, oh, I'm not really part of it. But instinctively, we do want to be part of it. We are a participatory audience, Africans across board. I will go as far as being that generalistic and say that we do. I mean, I know I will go and watch shows in the UK and I will laugh and people will turn around and look at me that you're not supposed to laugh like that. But, I want to express myself. Do you see what I mean?
Over there, they are very quiet and uptight, and everybody is watching, and you can't even turn your head. And and then they'll wait, and even when you have to clap, they'll just wait for when everything is over. Then everybody will get up and clap nicely. I mean, what did you go to do?
So in terms of spaces, I think you can create the space. There are found spaces. There are those official spaces. We've got the National Theatre, we've got the Amphi, we've got the Drama Studio. There are even the Amagashi Hall at University of Ghana, the Conference Center even the City Conference Center at the University of Ghana
Okay.
is not a great, I know Chief Mumin has performed on there, is not a great space for performances because it has not been built with theatrical performances in mind, but it is a stage. And we as Africans, we have taken on these new vestiges that came with our history, but we use it in a way that suits us. So we spill over the proscenium. We don't stay on that stage.
Okay.
We want to reach our audience. So we go into the audience all the time, even though we're supposed to have this fourth wall.
The fourth wall, yeah.
You know, I'm getting too technical. Take it back.
I'm lost.
You know, no, don't be lost.
No.
You know, so the way I was responding, maybe because I knew where he was coming from.
Yeah.
So we're looking at it professionally.
Yeah.
Where would people want to pay and then have that experience that they can go? Because all these other places have various limitations.
Of
yes,
course.
there are.
Yeah.
I mean, Latif will tell us that organizing a play at the conference center is hell.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Yeah, yes, it's not easy.
I'll come to him.
The last one, one of the last plays, even he had challenges with the light. Yeah, even the light, the crane. That
When
was
he brought the mosque and everything.
yeah, the light got stuck halfway. Must I tell you a story?
Latif, how challenging is it, mounting a stage there?
Very challenging. Very challenging. But like Doc said, you just have to make it possible.
Yes,
Yeah.
you just have to make it possible.
We were trying to, and it delayed the show actually because we tried to bring some of the light bars down to hang our lights in there, take it up before the performance begins.
Okay.
And then, I mean, we're done. We brought it down. We're trying to change the focus of the lights, and then we're supposed to just take it up. So that
The thing
the
got
audience
stuck.
can come in,
Yeah.
and the thing got stuck.
Oh,
Yeah, the hoist. It won't go.
It won't go.
Yeah.
And people are outside. I mean, that was the first day. That was a Thursday for the second coming of Nkrumah. And
Yeah.
imagine how we publicized that particular play.
Yes.
The place was packed, and the light just won't go up.
Nkrumah didn't want to come again.
Latif, you see what you just said brings me to my point. Do you think we will ever in this country have theaters specifically?
You see, when I was answering the question, that is where I was going to. Yes.
Because you see, if you have to change lights every
Yeah.
single time,
Yes.
somebody else has to go and put this equipment in there, take it
Exactly.
out after his
Exactly.
performance,
Exactly.
and the next time it's rented out to some hip hop artist.
And
How are you going to get the professionalism you're talking
No,
about?
okay, let me before
George,
you look.
Go
there
where
was-
you were going to.
yes.
Let me see.
There was an event at was it at the National Theatre, and there was going to be a play the following day, and the people that did the event put an SAV material on the stage floor for their show. You can't
What's
blame them. That's their
SAV
show.
material?
SAV is it's like a sticker. It's a shiny sticker.
Okay.
You know, sometimes you could use a Jaguar carpet, or you could also use an SAV material, depending on what kind of effect you want to create. You can use a normal carpet as well, like any of these as well. The people. So and when you put a sticker material on wood, when you take it off,
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
Yes.
exactly, and somebody has to do a play afterwards, and that's
see?
exactly what Uncle Kent mentioned. So, I mean, we need to, because when you go outside, there are even certain things they will not allow you to put on the stage.
You
the
like
stage,
that?
yeah?
No. So the stage for 100 years, the way it is, it remains that way.
Of course.
It's
You take the
properly
London
maintained.
Palladium, you
Yes,
take
exactly.
the Apollo Theatre.
But you see, because we have a challenge with venues,
Venues.
for almost everything else, that one national theatre
Multi-purpose.
is doing everything else.
Multi-purpose.
Church shows, parties, wedding receptions,
Funerals, sorry.
funeral, you name it, everything is it's all happening.
No
there.
wonder it's run down.
Well, that's another conversation.
So let me to continue.
You know, so that is the challenge that we have.
Okay.
You understand me? So I mean, if it to let me not stress this. You want a theater. The National Theatre is perfect. The National Theatre in the beginning,
Okay.
which was just plug and play. It had everything. I did not have to carry lights. I did not have to carry sound equipment. I
conditioners.
did not have to carry air. I didn't have to carry anything.
Anything.
You just go in there, you do your play, and you leave. You pay for it, you do your play, and you leave. But today, when you rent it, you've got to go with your own sound equipment. You've got to go with your
Standby
own lighting.
generator.
You've got to go with your own
AC.
you name it. I mean, so many things that you need to go with. You understand? And it's the same with a conference center. You rent it, you need to go with almost everything.
Everything, yeah.
Because it's just not there. So what do we need? We need a state-of-the-art auditorium that has got everything, so that practitioners like the Globe Productions, like the Fifi Coleman Productions, like you name it, all of us, you can focus on creating magic, knowing that when I come to this venue, everything is there, action, and we're going.
Great. Latif.
I mean, I was just saying that we had to get to a point where we made the audience come into the auditorium,
Okay.
because they've been standing for that long for us to work on the lights.
Wow.
Hey.
Yes, I mean, I said they must be part of the process. They must understand what is going
Going
on.
on.
But people keep asking. When you tell them there's a challenge, they don't
They
understand.
don't understand.
Why would
Because
they
yes,
understand?
they don't exactly. So we just opened the doors for them to enter.
Eesh.
And then you know what? Fortunately, when they started entering, immediately they sat down. The thing started going.
Miracle.
Yeah.
So I mean, we have huge challenges when it comes to performance. Sometimes also you cannot afford to rent the theater or the conference center for 2 days extra for your technical rehearsals and stuff because of the cost. So expensive. So practitioners are forced to do everything within that day that they are
Yes.
supposed to perform.
Yes.
And it worries a lot, because if they tell you that the cost of the place is 20-something thousand, 30,000, 45,000 just for the auditorium,
Yeah.
what would you do? The auditorium has no lights, no sound, nothing. You have to bring everything.
Yes.
What
And
would
then
you do?
the training you've had is that you have a tech run, you have a
Good. You
technical
need all of
dress
that.
run, and all of those things. This is what you're used
All of
to.
that.
But people skip that
Because
because of the
they
cost.
can't afford
Let
it.
me-
Yes.
Let me tell you something.
So
For
they-
Because of
almost
the cost.
every theater practitioner in Ghana, the
Yeah.
first show is always our tech
Our
dress.
tech rehearsal.
Yes.
Yeah, the first show is always our tech dress.
Yes.
Auntie, first, I'm
For the gods are not to blame.
Yeah.
The gods are not to blame. For instance, we were never able to effectively rehearse the entire play with light, sound. No,
Yeah.
never ever until that very first show. on
Yes.
the
I
2nd of December.
understand.
Yeah.
I will come to the second show.
Wow.
But it's so at least that's where we need to recognize the talents we have.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it tells you how good
Absolutely.
they are. Yeah.
Absolutely.
How good they
Yes.
are for making it possible.
All right.
Yes.
Joe 99.7 FM. You can send any your thoughts right now. 055-1111-997. I think we have some here already. This one says, Kwame, the National Commission on Culture's Center. The National Commission on Culture Center for National Culture by Design has two types of performance spaces: an open air and indoor facilities. The aesthetically the aesthetic element of theater would vary depending on style of presentation, but we have spaces around us. Okay, thank you for your
Yeah.
comment. Dear, okay, so can you please ask your guests what they're doing to help newbie playwrights to find their feet in the industry? Many newbies are often unnoticed and are forced to accept gigs where they are either underpaid or not even paid at all. My name is Ajeso. Okay, this particular question, Doc, newbie
I know Ajeso.
playwrights. You know Ajeso. Ajeso has a concern.
Yes.
Do we have
Ajeso-
a place for them, the playwrights?
Well-
are we using them?
There are spaces. Ebibi Groma is one. Ajeso has actually, as the artistic director, she has sent me one of her plays
Good,
and
good.
is hoping for a commission. And it's something that we are looking at and assessing. I know that also the National Theatre is also doing with the Two Idiots. They're doing something with the Folks Place
Oh, wow.
where they are opening up that space. It's a smaller audience where new plays can be put on there. The drama studio is also available if you can get young performers together.
Okay.
You can try and work your play. And the drama studio is first of all a training facility for the School of Performing Arts.
Okay.
But outside of the school period, it is available for commercial use. And I'm speaking for the artist, for the,
Yeah.
the studio manager, but he's a colleague and friend. I know that we do make some time during the full year calendar for people to come in, and there are new plays that do come, like some of the theatre companies that have started from past students, they tend to frequent the drama studio. So that will be my initial answer to Ajeso.
George Kwe, do playwrights earn enough?
Does anybody in the creative space in Ghana earn enough?
Yeah, you do.
That should be the question.
You do.
I do. I do because, by God's grace, I do because I work like 5 jobs.
Hey.
But if I were to focus on just one, it would never be enough. Yes, I do work like 5 jobs.
Wow.
Yes, that's the reality. Latifi is a businessman. He would only have anything he has to do to survive. You know, yeah. So that's the reality. You know,
I asked the question because of the underpaid and not paid or bit of his message.
you see, the
Her
underpaid and not
message.
paid and everything
Her
ties
message, okay.
ties into something I said early on. How much are people willing to pay for our creative works? If Globe Production says for their next production they are charging 500 cedis, you, Kwame, would you pay?
Oh yes, I will pay.
No, you won't pay.
You don't
He
know me.
hesitated.
I
500,
will
you,
pay.
you know, your hesitation gave you away. Nobody will pay 500. But if Sarkodie says, Charlie, next concert, 1,000, we'll pay. You understand me? Not realizing that the reality of the fact of the matter is that the efforts that go into a play cannot be compared to a music concert. They are miles apart.
True.
I have worked on both, and I can tell you for sure that a play demands way more. Way more. Nobody in this country rehearses 3 months for a music concert.
And
But a play will take up to 4 months. And 4 months, when I'm saying 4 months, I'm talking 4 months of daily rehearsals. Daily.
Yeah.
You have to feed people, you have to give transportation, you have to get water, you have to get everything. All this cost comes in. And then when you finish, you charge 150 cedis, and then the Ghana Revenue Authority will take 21.3% of that money. We are not fighting them. It's okay. It is fine. But what I keep asking, if you take all that money, can you get some of it to use to refurbish the National Theatre for me, at least? Yes, I know it has to go into the consolidated fund or whatever. And then they have to go into the concept of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. They have to look at what's at the top. So we're always at the bottom of the food chain and all that. So at which point do we also get to grow? At which point do we also... Because people will keep blaming and bashing the National Theatre, and air condition is not working, and this is not working. The National Theatre is not someone's private property that the person can get up and go to Dakin and say, give me air conditioning and let me put at the National Theatre. It belongs to the state. Why is the state not fixing it? That is where we should, direct our question. Why is the state not fixing it? The state says we are doing a marine drive development project. Beautiful. What is the plan for the art center, the auditorium that
In
used
there.
to be there? What is the plan for that?
They say
You
it is
understand?
in
And all
the
that.
whole
So
structure.
why are we? That's the thing. If somebody at the top does not recognize the importance of this sector, Yanko baby, yeah.
Now, George, can the practitioners, you the practitioners, can you not come together and fight this cause?
Oh well,
By-
that's what we're doing now.
by you actually going to petition the state.
Yeah. Activism.
You, the practitioners yourselves. Because if you go through the ministry, you know the red tape. You know the red tape.
Yes.
You go through parliament. You use the activism that you have. And I think you will achieve.
Oh, I think through these conversations we're getting some, because
Some
recently
results,
I saw in the dailies that the National Theatre had opened a bid for air conditioners and a genset.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, a bid had been opened. I saw it in one of the papers. I
Yeah.
think Daily Graphic or something like that, and all that. So it's a step in the right direction. Kudos to the government for that. And we
But
pray
to
it's done quickly.
expedite some of these actions.
Yes, we pray that it's done and done quickly. But you see, the National Theatre alone is not enough. What if Globe
That is
Productions, Roverman Productions, Image Peripheral Communications, Fifi Coleman Productions, Nyansapop Productions, Francis Nutako and their people,
Yeah.
everybody. What if we all want to do plays one weekend?
Yes.
Where do we all go?
We wouldn't have a place to do that. Okay.
But
it
you have
should be possible.
proven also that plays can be staged during the week.
Yeah, oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
Now
It does not
we
have to be
them-
at
Yes.
the weekend
Weekend.
alone.
Yes,
You proved that.
Yes,
I
we
think
did that with the
yes.
gods are not to
With
blame.
the gods are not to blame.
But you see, Uncle Ken, that was December. In December, every day. is a
Oh,
weekend.
forget
yeah.
but
it's true.
Recently you did.
It's a point. It's a good
Yeah,
point.
recently
though.
we did a weekday again recently.
Recently
and
we
we
did,
pushed we did a Thursday, Friday and Saturday. It worked. It worked. We did not get a full house.
On Thursday?
But yes, we didn't get a full house.
Okay.
But yes, it was still good. I mean, we had to test it out of December to be sure. And
Because
Uncle Ken,
basically
you're right.
the
It is
venue, the
possible.
venue is lying idle during the week.
Not exactly. The National Theatre is not that
Almost
free.
always booked.
It is the busiest building in Accra.
All right, we have some more thoughts here. One of the best plays I've watched in around theatre style was, is it Etu Atubari?
It
Oh,
was
Etu
Atubari.
Atubari.
Okay,
Godwin.
by Godwin Cote, the late,
yes.
fantastic, immersive play, audience feeling involved, powerful approach.
Yeah.
The challenge right now with theatre production in Ghana is that the venture has become unnecessarily expensive because of lack of government intervention from Kofi Adinkra. Then we go ahead. This one said the Sekendi Takrady Mini Theatre exists as a space which hasn't been completed. Should the creative arts sector be invested in, as JQ mentioned, there will be adequate spaces for performances and it can be developed going forward. Okay, so these are some of the thoughts that we have from our listeners here, but you can also call us now. How do you think we can grow this theatre industry of ours? 030-2216-541. 030-2216-541. I'm here with Dr. Ekua Ekuma. I'm here with Uncle Ken, Latif Abubakar, and George Quay. You can call us now, 030-2216-541, or WhatsApp number 055-1111-997. So we're still talking about how to make theatre in this country more profitable for people who invest in it, like George Quays and Latif Abubakar. So they'll get more money. So the next time they come here, they say, oh, now they are in Yesika. It wouldn't be like, oh, we're always pushing the money
Kwame,
and the
you
money
see-
is not coming.
Let me tell you how bad it is when it comes to, and when I speak, some of my friends in government sometimes don't get me. Look, about 20 years ago, a new auditorium was started for the School of Performing Arts, University of Ghana.
Good.
Ask Doc
I like where
the
you are going.
state of that structure. That structure has long been abandoned. It is not just the School of Performing Arts. When you go to the National Film and Television Institute, now UNIMAC, I don't know how long. That one is even older than the one at the drama studio.
Yes.
You know, a state-of-the-art, production unit with a cinema and editing rooms and recording and chroma key rooms and all that abandoned. And this is not a current government issue or it's the governments, all of them, since '92, all of them till date. There hasn't been a deliberate attention to this sector. I don't know if we, the people in the sector, are the problems. Latif, or is it us?
Don't you think you have
Or you want George
part
Quay
to
to
play?
become president before we start seeing solutions?
George Quay, let's
maybe,
go.
maybe, doesn't Cheddar need a running mate?
Do you have ideas?
Pardon?
Do you have ideas?
Oh yeah, the sea,
Do you have a blueprint?
Yeah, we can take the sea to book.
Okay, let's go on the phone lines and speak to Kojo Poku. He has something to share with us. Kojo,
Kwame,
good afternoon.
good afternoon, Kwame. How are you doing?
I'm doing so well. How about you?
Not bad. George, are you sure it's only 5 jobs that you work on?
Oh, Minya, the 5 ones are official. If we say the rest, Jerry will start following me.
The Galamsey ones and other ones.
Minya, enough for me.
Kojo,
Charlie. But good afternoon, good evening to you guys in the studio. I just want to add that it's crazy how people are really pushing the limits and the boundaries that we have, in the industry to get to where we want to get to. One thing that I keep asking myself is, if somebody came to Ghana to set up a new factory, let's say a lithium battery making factory, the person can apply for some tax incentive, some tax holiday, and the government can allow this factory to operate for 5 years, 10 years without paying taxes until the company is taken off that no tax paying regime and starts paying money to the government. I don't understand why, and I keep asking this question. I don't understand why we in this creative industry cannot fall in that category of people who can say, okay, we are starting a new business. April production, it's barely 5 years old. We fall under that category. We are starting a new movement. We are giving jobs to people. When you go for one production, the number of people that are employed to work on one production, why can't we in this industry also be allowed to fall in that category where we can run our productions for 5 years, 10 years, and be giving some tax-free moratorium until we are at the top there where we can easily pay so much tax. And I need to get some answers from the VRA. You know, whenever the VRA comes into the studio, it's all about, the GRA, it's all about we paying our taxes when we are doing our events and all that. But look at how George and these other guys are struggling to pay bills, huge bills. And even though the theater is an old industry, what they are doing now, they are all new companies. Why can't they access these tax-free regimes or policies so that they can grow their industry to a level? I'm sure when they are able to get to that level and you ask them to pay all these 23% that he has to take out of the income that he has made, it will be very, very easy for him. But now he is starting without any form of support, any form of sponsorship, nothing. He has to take money out of pocket every time to pay for refreshment, to pay for equipment, to pay to his colleague actors and actresses, and all the other expenses that come with running the production like that. And at the end of the day, you will find the GRA man with his vest on, counting the number of people who have come in, even those that you give complimentary tickets. So you come in right now, if I'm doing a production and I give you a free ticket to come in and you come in, that ticket is calculated as an income to me. Meanwhile, I want you as a potential client to come and take a look, so that if you go back to your boardroom and they are having conversations,
great,
you may recommend that production to your company to support. But yet I have to cost money that I don't have and pay tax on.
Because I think this matter is of great concern to the industry. And I remember when we had the Showbiz Roundtable with the sponsorship discussion, it came up. Yeah.
And
all right.
I think that we have to, all of us have to push this agenda until we get some answers. I mean, I know the film authority is allowing importation of equipment and all that tax free. We have to find a way that we in that industry. So if I want to bring some sound equipment for theater, do I fall in that category to be exempted from paying taxes? If I want to bring some new rotating stage for theater, do I fall within the film category? There has to be that clear cut, understanding, so that we can also enjoy some of these perks and then help people like George and Latif to go.
Thank you very much, Kojo Poku. And Kojo Poku is CEO of Big Ideas Consult. Thank you so much for your thoughts there. Still here on Joy 99.7 FM, Showbiz A to Z, brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go, and Superstar Multi-Fruit Drink. And the show is produced by Philip Nye with assistance from Anita Te. We have Chris PK on social media. Yeah, you can also call us now 0302216541. But I think Chief Mumin is on Zoom from the US. Let me go to Chief Mumin now.
Bye-bye.
Chief.
The one that
My brother.
Hey. Chief, you are chilling.
Chilling. Well, literally, I'm chilling because sometimes the weather can be cold.
How have you been, Chief?
Yes, it's been a busy almost 2 weeks now, up and down. Already been to about 4 states. Engaging, learning, immersing myself in the theater industry as well as related industries here in the US. So I must say that it has been quite revealing
Okay, so what took you to the US?
So I'm currently in the US on a fellowship program. It's called the Eisenhower Fellowship. What they do is that they take people from all around the world who are doing like amazing stuff, and they connect them, to people in the US doing similar stuff. So in my case, I'm being connected to producers, directors, the cultural industry. I'm meeting policy people. So I'm meeting people from business, policy, and of course the practice, So it's been quite an eye-opener, and picking a lot of learnings and experiences that I intend to bring back to the country to impact the work that we are also doing here.
Exactly what I want to hear. Learnings. Please share some with us, if you don't mind.
Well, I'm sure. I joined in late, but I'm sure some of the points that and then good afternoon to. Is it good afternoon or good evening? I don't know what time it is in Ghana anyway. Good afternoon.
It's afternoon here.
Anyway, so good afternoon to. I know Latif should be in the studio. I know George Kwe. I heard his voice rattling about his presidential ambition, and I know that my own good friend and mentor Kuma is also in the building.
Yes.
Doc.
Yes, Chief.
Yes, Michiao.
Just so
yes. Yeah, so good, and good afternoon to the listeners too. So yeah, essentially, I'm sure as your guests have mentioned, for you to have a thriving theater industry, there are three things that you have to account for: infrastructure, content, and audience. And the way you get the audience is through marketing. And all of these three things require resources, whether financial resources to have the infrastructure, financial resources to produce the content, and financial resources to market and attract, the audience. So it's really a huge undertaking financially for those of us in the theater field. I guess that for me, one of the things that I've noticed here is that not only is theater being built on, if you like, a commercial angle, there's also a very heavy philanthropic, aspect to it. One of the first places I went to, I landed in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And so I went to the University of Pennsylvania. Their theater is bigger and nicer than the National Theater. Let me just put it that way. And this is the student theater, right? This is their version of a drama studio. And a state-of-the-art facility, and it's actually a big building. They have about 4 different kinds of theaters. They have a very big theater, they have a smaller theater, they have a children's theater, and this is the facility that these students have access to, right? And when I found and I asked about how it's being funded, mostly it's through philanthropic donations, it's through endowments. Some families who want to promote the art, just donate, to that facility to say produce content. So their outlook is not necessarily commercial. Yes, they do host commercial productions every now and then, but mostly it's about the role that they are playing in the community. Similarly, in Washington, I taught, the Kennedy Center, amazing venue, about another 5 theaters, iconic building, which in itself is also a cultural institution, in the US. It's meant to promote the performing arts. So they even have shows where it's free, it's open to the general public. You register, you attend. And obviously, they also host some of the mega, productions, Broadway productions. So it's for arts really in any country to really thrive. You need to have a fine mix of the commercial as well as the commercial, non-commercial. So what we need to also evolve in our part of the world is a society where, there is philanthropic money, if you like, also going into certain art sectors. That's one of the things that we don't have in our part of the country. Endowments for education, for art. And until we have those kinds of systems, we may not necessarily be able to develop robust artistic practice and institutions. And when you talk about West, these experiences go way back. For example, you talk about the famous, Da Vinci, who painted the Mona Lisa in Florence. Da Vinci was painting and producing art under the patronage of the Medici family, which was like a very rich, wealthy banking family, in Florence back then. And what they would do is that they would commission artists to create. So a lot of the artworks that you see today, from so-called masters, in European homes and museums and institutions around the world, most of them were produced under this kind of system where you have a major mega patron who understands the role of art in society and, essentially putting money into it. So for our generation, as for this generation, we're not going to see that impact in terms of our parents' generation. But when someone like a Latif becomes a multi-millionaire or billionaire, or like George Kwe, and as they have already revealed, these are entrepreneurs in their own right. How then do we begin to change the narrative? How do we begin to give back to the society beyond our churches and our mosques and the small charity that we do? How do we use our resources resources to engineer certain social progress in our society. I think that's where that one of the important missing links so far as we are concerned in this country and on this continent.
Okay. On the issue of the Mansa world, have you spoken about it since you went there?
But George, but you think that I'll be going here? I'll be coming and I'll be talking about Bobby and Mankini. George,
My brother.
yes, see what it is, BT and another thing.
Pacho me and cleaning, I have no idea.
Oh, so obviously,
But where they want to
I mean, I didn't just come to look and admire and laugh and go back. You know, I came to seriously network and to explore various opportunities, you know, for the work that I do and what's its impact to be, you know, in my country and on the continent. So definitely, I came here mainly on the ticket of the Mansa World. There's the Mansa World project that I used to apply, and so it will definitely be through that project that I would engage with anyone I'm meeting, you know. And so definitely we're definitely exploring, and I'm very, very confident that, you know, some opportunities, collaborations, you know, learnings, impact will come out of this, not just, you know, for the work that I'm doing with my team. And the team is really, it circulates, you know, for us producers, the team really circulates around, but also on the industry itself, you know, we would feel the impact of this fellowship, you know, going forward.
Now, with the people that you've spoken to regarding Mansa World, what has been the reception?
Well, I mean, people have been amazed. So usually the context that I go with is the context of the theater industry in Ghana. So I explain where we are coming from, the challenges that we are facing, and what we are doing in spite of those challenges. And so for me, that's what I really admire about us in our society. First, from where I come from poetry into theater, we've essentially built industries out of, or we're building industries really out of nothing, you know, just the sheer will and passion to keep going and keep producing. That is why some of us have been in this industry for a decade. None. I've been doing theater for well over, you know, almost 10 years now. None, I can confidently tell you that none of my theater production has made money. Every time we're in deficit. So much so that when I even run Mansa World, I thought I wasn't even going to sell tickets, because what's the point, you know? So the first shows that we did, it was actually it was free for people to just, you know, subscribe and come and watch. It was only the December show that we tested with a bit of ticketing, but when we came back and we did again in January, it was also free for people. And I'm sure if we do any mega show, it may be a mix of free and because I've come to realize that really, how much tickets can you sell when you're running a production with a team of you know, almost 200, unless you are selling a particular premium, you know, you may not just be able to recover your cost, or unless you can fill the theaters like George Quay. Maybe George Quay made some small money with the gods are not to blame, you know, when he had the opportunity to run it a number of times. But I also know, just being in that industry, knowing that, you know, the costs will be, you know, ridiculous. And I always say that we don't even pay what the actors and the performers deserve. And for me, that's actually one of my driving factors, that I've worked with these guys for so many years. The passion, the commitment, the hard work. People come for a rehearsal. Sometimes we close at 9 o'clock. They have to take trotros all the way to Kaswa. Some people are at Pokwase. Some people are even at Budumburam. I mean, and how much are you going to pay them? You know, and if you even calculate realistically what they spend on TNT, it may not correspond to what you actually pay them. You know, just also because the productions are not well financed. You know, we don't have that much money to say we want to give as much as we can. So for me, I realized that one of the ways in which we can make this fulfilling for the industry, fulfilling for the performers in the industry, is to expand the frontiers, you know, to see the globe as a market and not just, just our local market. And I think that if we also succeed internationally and succeed well, it would also influence what happens on the local market. Look, people can afford to. I mean, I think it was last year, 2022 December, that we experimented with increasing ticket pricing. Back then, the average ticket price was around 100. You know, when we did our show, we said, okay, December, let's experiment a bit and let's take it to 150. You know, and we push it to 150. Now ticket prices are hitting 200, right? So it means that if people can pay premium to go to the Afro nations and the likes of this world, I mean, they should be able to pay premium for theater. But that value, we have to give people a reason to appreciate that value, to appreciate that, okay, let me at least pay 500 for a theater ticket, at least for a particular VIP slot. And when I'm saying that, we're not saying that we want to exclude the vast majority of Ghanaians, because theater is still the cheapest entertainment that you'd find in this country, despite the fact that it's a very expensive production to put up. What we can do is to have a tiered system where at least we can have some people paying 500, we can have some people paying 300, some people paying 200, and some people paying 100 Ghana cedis, so that at least those who can afford can subsidize those who can afford. So once we're able to build in a very good tiering system, then it can help. But at the end of the day, one of the inhibitions would be infrastructure. Just the cost of infrastructure is so expensive. And so one of the things that can help us, and I'm sure your brothers and Doc in the studio have mentioned this, is to have an infrastructure that accounts for all the technical details, so that if you're going into a theater, you know that, okay, it comes with your sound, your light, and everything, and there's a rate that you pay. It can be a weekly rate, because theater is so expensive that you can't make your money within the first production. So in Broadway, they usually have a formula that you can only make money after your 40th or your 31st show or something like that, because you need to run a number of shows before you recoup your cost. And once you recoup your costs, you need to then run it in such a way that you are getting money to take care of your daily overheads, and also having some surplus, which can eventually become your profits, right? So if you run a production and you just do 1 weekend or 2 weekend, really, what are you doing? Because so much work goes into the production, 3 to 4 months of sometimes a whole 6-month preparation process. By the time you're looking at your scripting, casting, rehearsal, I mean, it's a long process, right? When you put all of that together and then you just you put 6 months of effort and you just have 1 week or 2 weeks of output, then that means you're not maximizing. I say that the average theater attendance in Ghana now, at the very maximum, if you take the success stories like Uncle Ebo White, maybe like George Quay, he can also give us the numbers, and like Latif, I put our average theater attendance at 10,000 audience, at the max. Like if you have a very successful show that sells over like maybe multiple showings, you may end up getting about 10,000 audience at max. The only way this industry will become profitable, really fulfilling, if we're able to move that 10,000 to 100,000 audience. So can George Quay, Latif, myself, Uncle Ebo White have a production that runs for 3 months and can attract 100,000 audience? If we're attracting 100,000 audience at an average of, let's say, even $15 a ticket, right? So it means that it can come down, it can go up. It means you're looking at a potential $1.5 million in revenue. That's about how much in Ghana cedis. Well, George, is Latif still in the studio? Latif is the businessman. What is the exchange rate today? Those of us here were spending dollars.
See this man.
What's the exchange rate now?
I spend cedis, I beg you.
It's what?
Philip is the one who spends dollars. I don't spend dollars, so I wouldn't know.
Okay, so is it still 10 cedis or is it about 15 cedis?
It's about 13 cedis, I hear.
13 cedis. Okay,
Yeah,
so if it's about 13 cedis, that's almost 18 million Ghana cedis, in revenue. So we should get to a point where we can grow our audience to a respect that we can run a show for 2-3 months, and that show can attract X number of people. So for me, my target is in Ghana, for example, how do we grow our average audience base for theater from 10,000 to 100,000? Can we get 100,000 audience to see a production? But to do that, we need the infrastructure, and we need to be able to have an infrastructure where we can play in for 3 months. That's number one. Number two, we need to have wonderful content. We need to give people a reason to come. And to do that, we have to market. You need to market theater like MTN will market a product. Like what's the name of this tissue brand that has been very popular of late? One of the tissue brands, marketed by one of our major celebrities, for example, right? So you have to be able to market your product like that. Because when you go around, I mean, traveling around this, I see people marketing theater on television, is there, billboards and all of that. So you need to see theater as a product and invest in marketing. So once we have infrastructure taken care of, we have marketing taken care of, and we have content taken care of, then you are getting to a point so that if currently, let's say our average theater ticket price is like 100 Ghana cedis, right? So if at the very maximum we are able to even sell 10,000, but they are not selling 10,000 because about 20-30% of that would actually be complimentary tickets. But let's say you're able to sell 10,000 at 100 cedis, that's like 1 million Ghana cedis, right? By the time you take your overheads and the partnerships that you are doing with people, by the time you pay all of that, there's really not much that you can say, hey, this is it can change someone's destiny. But if with the same product, you're able to expand from 1 million Ghana cedis to 18 to 20 million Ghana cedis, my brother, you're in business. You know that you can make some 20, to 30% in profit margin. So what we need to do now is to grow that market to that respect, to that point. Other than that, really, what we are doing, myself, George Quay, Latif, Uncle Ebo White, and all the other guys who are coming in, it's just going to be, just scraping the surface But we need to go beyond scraping the surface. We need to go beyond this, galamsey we are doing to real mining of that cultural goals that we have, which is storytelling. And so for me now, that's the vision. How do we grow from 10,000 to 100,000? And maybe one of the things that we can do in our industry, as we all now develop capital. When I say capital, I just don't mean financial capital, social capital, literary capital, all kinds of capital. Is to pull those resources together. So one of the things I would actually even propose, at some point, in a year or two to come, is for us to do a major theater festival. That's one of the strategies I was discussing with one professor of art here. So imagine myself, George Quay, Latif, Uncle White, we all come together and say we're doing a major theater festival, right? So we're not only pulling resources together, we're also pulling audiences together, and all our machines are working to grow, because at the end of the day, one person will not be able to grow the industry on their own. So it is our collective effort when pulled together that we're able to really grow the industry. So that's something for us to actually consider, in a year or two, a couple of years from now, do a major theater festival. And when we come together on that front, then maybe we can also lobby. I mean, I usually don't like to think of or rely on government, because I know government is always overwhelmed with one matter or another, and the last thing on their mind is art. Although I believe that art is the lowest hanging fruit to create the employment that we need on this continent. But so far, we have built this without any official government support. Government always plays catch up. So if government will catch up at some point, we thank them. Either than that, too, we can still together try and implement some kind of actions, pool our resources together. A major, Ghana International Theatre Festival. So we can even use our links to bring in a few international productions and make it a major event in such a way that we can grow audience base.
Thank you, Chief Moomin there. So I was just looking at how we can get more audiences for our various theatre productions. And then he has mentioned infrastructure. He's mentioned theatre festival, content, marketing, and then lobbying government. Let me come to Latif. Do you think there are any other ways we can get more numbers for our productions in terms of patronage?
Of course, yes. I think that what he's mentioned is rightful. So looking at marketing. But like we'd always say, you're talking about marketing. The cost of marketing is another thing altogether.
The cost of marketing.
So you cannot afford the kind of marketing you require to promote a theatrical performance. You cannot afford. You will definitely be restricted, and pray that at least it goes viral. That is actually, or you work towards making it go viral. That is actually what will save you. But the kind of marketing, the amount of money you need to promote a theatrical performance, Charlie, we cannot afford. That is how come sometimes you realize that we manage, you hear productions going on, but you don't know, you don't hear of it. You sometimes hear of it after the production. You understand? But marketing is key. And if we are consistent, like he said, we collaborate and we are consistent in marketing and we are helping each other, like George Quay and Co are doing.
Yeah.
Then people begin to accept the fact that there's always going to be theatrical performances. And therefore, let's begin to budget for theatrical performances every month.
Good.
And that is what we are looking forward to achieving, where Ghanaians feel like, okay, so I know that or every weekend there's a performance somewhere. So let me begin planning towards it. I think that's the level rather we should aim at getting
And
to.
he mentions content.
For content, trust me, I've always believed that we churn out the best of content.
Okay.
When it comes to the
Are they
quality of work,
relatable to the Ghanaian audience?
very relatable to Ghanaian audience. Because see, we go out to watch plays.
Theatre is relatable to life.
Exactly.
So
we actually go out to watch plays. Sometimes you go to certain theaters in London, in Broadway, and so on and so forth, and you'll be watching what they are doing, and you're like, if we had money, you could do more and better. Look, did you watch Mansa Musa?
Yeah.
Yes. Did you watch The Gods Are Not to Be Played?
I did.
I've watched it even in Nigeria, and what George and Nash Okot did here,
Magic.
I mean, it's magical. So for content, for me, I think that we are there when it comes to content. Of course, yes, we need to improve. We can improve, but it's not an issue of content.
Okay.
It's an issue of the financial resources and also the infrastructure for it to happen. But when it comes to content, we have it.
Okay, let me go around with the same question, and then I come to Uncle Ken. George, so how do we get people interested in theater?
By not stopping. You see, way back at the university, I mean, aside the fact that we're students of performing arts, I know friends who were reading law, some psychology, but always made it a point to come watch plays at the drama studio. If you speak to Francis Doku right now, he'll tell you that during his days at the University of Ghana, he was a regular at the drama studio.
Wow.
We didn't do any radio, whatever. Even Radio Universe was not publicizing plays from the drama studio at the time and all that. But how were they able to attend? Because they knew it would be there.
All the time.
They knew that if they went to the drama studio on a Friday night, on a Saturday night, on a Sunday, there would be a play to see. Sometimes they don't even know the title. They just know there'll be a play and it will be good. So we can get people by not stopping.
All right.
From the gods are not to blame right now. We have a database of about 13,000 patrons.
13,000.
13,000 patrons. These are 13,000 individual email addresses. Now, how do we ensure? The sad thing is that some of them also gave us feedback. They made it clear they were not comfortable at the National Theatre, so they are not coming back if the next play is there.
Oh.
Yeah, they gave us that feedback. They said they were too hot. They had to leave at some point. It was so. Yeah, I mean that's the truth. We cannot run away from it. But at least we have this database. How can we sustain them? We need to continue. We need to give them regular productions. I need to, if Latif wants that database, I should be able to gladly share, and I will. If you want it, you can just send them an email, invite them to your next play. If Roverman wants it, you can have it. If anybody wants, whoever wants it, you can have it. It's email addresses. It's not national ID card so that you can say information has to be protected. No. It's just email, so that you can just send them an email. We have a play coming up, blah, blah, blah. Or if you want them to send, we can send that email on your behalf. We need to find ways to collaborate to grow the numbers. If we're able to work as a team, if Globe sees that Image and April Communications are about to do something and they can share it. Look, I'll tell you the truth. We wanted to do In the Chest of a Woman badly.
Wow.
Yes. And if you ask Efoko Jumogbe's son, he'll tell you that we approached him and all that. And he told us that, we've already given the franchise to another group. Because we wanted to do it for International Women's Day in March this year, but it was gone. And guess what? I mean, the team that had it, they called us, said, George, we are doing this play. Can we share flyers at your event? I said, flyers. Do you have a commercial? Bring it. I'll play it in the auditorium for you. We played it. I share whatever they share. We all share it. We need to, unless I don't see Globe Productions share something. They've just shared one recently. It's called the something. It's an Italian play, The License. I have shared it already. You understand? And I think if all of us in the industry should develop this mindset and find a way to identify and understand the fact that we are not competitors, we are collaborators. We need to work together. If we don't work together, we will never ever get there. Because if Globe says, I have my network and my people, it's just for me and all that, you continue to appeal to 3,000 people, 4,000 people, and we'll never grow. But if we can leverage on whatever it is we all have and all that, we can support each other. We can, if Latif is busy, he says, Charlie George, this play, we have a challenge with this part. Can you direct? I've been invited by the In the Church of a Woman to come see some of their rehearsals. I'm working my schedule to make time to go see it. If we don't find ways to help each other to give Ghanaians and the rest of Africa quality content, and most importantly, find ways to also work with media organizations. Media organizations need to support us. You understand? Because if you continue to charge us the same amount you charge this water company to advertise on your network, we will not survive. Because the money they are making, we are not making a quarter. You understand me? You have the airtime already. If we don't advertise, you play music anyway. So let us see how best we can collaborate. At least when we do our plays, we can play your advert. We can put your flags there. We can create some. And when we are doing our thank yous, we can mention you. So we are pleading with media organizations as well. We would not be able to pay the monies the MTNs are paying to buy your airtimes. The telecells are paying to buy your airtimes. The Casaprecons are paying to. We cannot afford it. Because we are not making the kind of money they are making. So we are begging you, we need you. It doesn't mean that when you're supporting us, you should play our advert at 10:30 p.m. put us on prime time too. Put us at 7:30 a.m. Put us at 8 a.m. When people are good. That's support. I know that is your peak time when you're selling, but if you can find time to play music, you can find time to play an advert. Music is 3 minutes. An advert is just 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 1 minute. Help us, because it is a green area. We are trying to grow it. It is a virgin territory. You understand? And if we do not get all the support that we can get, like Latif said, let's make it look beautiful so that government will see that, Charlie, this is a place we can milk, so that they can also throw some support our way.
Great one there. Doc, how do we make it beautiful?
How do we make it beautiful? By being true. I love everything that Chief Moomin has said, what George has said, in terms of how we grow a new audience. I think us coming together and working together makes so much sense. I also would like to add how we can cultivate a new theatre audience is also to start at the grassroots, to start and inculcate the value of the performing arts to our young audiences. We should go into schools. This is some of the work that Bibi Gruma is doing. I know that the National Theatre Players are also doing. I know that there are other groups that are going into schools, like how I first experienced my first theatre experience in church. But people going into schools, they now, when they see that magic, when they see that new truth that has been created right before them, they will value it. My father, when he first encountered theatre, was in his hometown back in Apam. And it was a cantata group. I think it was a concert party group that came and brought Chirenyame. He never forgot about that. He told me when I then started going into theatre, he gave me his old faded book of Chirenyame because he experienced that theatre in his hometown. So these grassroots are also places where we can also attack. I don't think there's only one way of doing this. Now, Chief Moomin has gone international to also show what we're doing. He's talking about the work we're doing here. I think it is important to create something of value here that the international world will say, hey, what is going on in Ghana? Why is everybody coming to Ghana? Right now, the world's eyes are looking to Africa.
Exactly.
They don't have enough content anymore. They are looking to Africa for that content. There is something missing. There's a missing link for them. And the missing link is here on our continent. So as for content, like I think we're all saying, we do have the content. What we need is support, because all these things ride on money. But unfortunately, I hope we don't get to a space where we say there's no money, so we won't do it. Like George has said, we mustn't stop. The drama studio, every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there are productions, student productions going on there. There are also private productions going on. So we certainly mustn't stop. We must also attack from the grassroots, work with young children, inculcate the value of the performing arts. And I don't think it's only because we hear stories for free, so we don't put a value on it. The value comes in different ways. It comes in different ways. How you remember a song that teaches you something that you now use later on in life. You go back to, oh, I heard that in a song when my grandmother was telling me the story. That is value. So that value doesn't only have to be money, but I know that we do need money for some of these foundational things so that we can reach a wider audience.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ekuma. Uncle again.
Yeah.
Kwame, hold on. Before let me just take a second to read this from Phil Phillips, Barbados. He says, George, can Ghana establish an equivalent and an enhanced version of Broadway production, the Broadway production industry, which stimulates tourism and every other sector across the national landscape? Then he adds, the 2022-2023 Broadway season generated 1.5 billion. Yeah, about 1.5 billion in total gross revenue, and reached a total attendance of about 12 million across all shows. You understand? According to the Broadway leagues. So I mean,
asking, can we
Why can't we?
We can't.
Yes.
That was exactly what Chief Moomin was talking
We
about.
That's it.
If we don't multiply the numbers.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I think what Chief Moomin has also done is that I'm sorry of time.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No
Uncle
problem,
Ken.
no problem,
What
no
what
problem.
he's done is that he's he's one man.
Yes.
But he's a creative, and now he's having to be a businessman and do all of these things. He's the same man who's going to write the play, do the research, put this piece together, gather all of these artists together. You know, there needs to be more chiefs.
In the
and
value
I
chain.
think
Yeah.
we are all doing multiple. Like George needs to do 5 jobs to be able to survive. But
The 5 are the official ones.
the official ones. Do you see what I mean? You know, but we would love to be able to create and know that there is a structure that will then take on the work that we have created and be able to multiply it and send it out to the world. But those are the structures that we're talking about. So ultimately, Chief is a creative. You know,
Yeah.
we all sitting here are creatives.
Creatives.
But we are having to put on so many other hats
Yeah.
to be able to do the
Wow.
work, to get the work out there.
Uncle Ken.
Yes, Kwame. I told you I was coming to learn.
Oh yes, we've learned a lot today.
Yes, I have really enjoyed the tutelage I've had this evening.
The time is all yours from now till.
On this, it can't be mine. It can't be mine because I don't have too much to add on to what the experts have already brought about. I was going to ask questions about content,
Yeah.
and I was
Okay.
happy
The
that
chief
Chief
mentioned that,
mentioned
yeah.
it.
mentioned and Doc and George have both also expanded
Yeah.
on the content angle.
Great.
I was reading. I'm old-fashioned, so I buy the Mirror and those papers.
How can we all read them?
Not everybody.
Me, I still do.
Yes, not everybody.
Yeah.
And I saw a preview of Uncle Ebo's. I don't know if it's an Uncle Ebo play.
What's the title?
Which one?
In the
Dubai-
pants.
In the Pants of Woman. No, it's not Uncle Ebo.
No.
It's
Kobina and
what's
Son.
the- Kobina and Son.
Kobina
Yeah.
and Son.
Yeah,
Okay,
Kobina
so
and
I
Son,
read
yeah.
his column
Yeah.
Okay.
in the
right.
Mirror
Yeah.
this morning.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the play,
Yeah.
Okay.
you know, and
Story of
he
rape.
Yeah.
I've heard adverts about the play.
Yeah.
I didn't know exactly what
It was.
it was about till I read his article today.
Yeah.
And he's talking about treating a social issue
Yeah.
that is very hard
Good.
Yeah.
for
To deal
people
with.
to talk about.
Yeah.
That's rape.
Rape.
Yes.
You know. And what fascinated me was the fact that he said he was using songs to portray the issue, and so the way the play has been structured, even kids can go with their parents to watch the play, and it is very difficult for people to sit at places to discuss a touchy issue like rape.
Yep.
You know, and so people who have suffered that live in abject, misery,
Yes.
some for the rest of their lives and all that. And so he sat down and thought about a way to go around bringing this public issue to the public to make them enjoy watching but learning a lot about it. And I said, oh, that's nice, because almost all of you who have these plays treat matters that mirror society.
That's the
Yeah.
whole idea. That's theatre.
Yeah.
So
the
with the content, you don't have a problem. There's a lot of content that you guys can always utilize in whatever you do. But the resources and government, I like some of the attitudes of you guys who have not waited for government before embarking on your projects, because it looks like in the arts world, if you wait for government, you will be waiting forever.
And Uncle Ken, it's important because when we led the way, I mean, some of us who have gone knocking on doors, let me thank Mr. Kwesi Ajiman of the GTA. They've supported a lot of our projects, almost all of we've had some support. Because this very last rerun of The Gods Are Not to Blame, for instance, had it not been for the support from the GTA, we probably couldn't have been able to execute it, And I mean, we're grateful. But Of course, we expect more. It is not about the support to individual groups. It is about something that is going to help the entire sector.
Yeah.
You understand? So
Can I please tie in with this message? Says that have theatre practitioners considered approaching the private sector to build a suitable place solely for theatre production?
They do all the time.
we're all laughing, because without them, we won't be here.
Yes.
Look, we approach them every time. And like Doc said early on, if we are lucky to even have people in certain institutions who understand what we do, or they've gone through theatre school or connected with theatre in one way or the other, it's a lot easier. Let me say thanks to Bartlett, MNG, for instance, MNC Group, exactly. Let me thank Joseph Adobuewo of Ebony Condoms, TFHO, Malko Afajino at Stanbic Bank, Neplant's Car Rental. These are people that have encountered theatre at various, so sometimes they open their doors to support what we do, and they've been quite supportive.
Another question here, then can I come back to you again? Then
No problem.
Okay, so how has the copyright, performers, broadcast and producers' rights protection, as well as other intellectual property rights, helped theatre in Ghana? How much intellectual property do performers know from university and in industry? How can we leverage on the benefits of intellectual property commercialization in the theatre industry? By Komla, Cape Coast.
He started a whole new conversation. That'll need another 3 hours.
Please do that in 3 minutes instead of 3 hours.
So
Okay.
you spoke about
Rights.
Rights.
Yes.
yeah.
Do that in 3 minutes. I
You
beg.
see, there are 2 levels of rights. When you produce a play, you have the rights to that play. That is
Okay.
one. Then, whose play are you producing? You understand? Has the play fallen into fair use? When a play is written over, I think it's 50 or 70 years,
70
after 70
years.
years, it's fallen into fair use.
Yeah.
If it's not fallen into fair use, then you need to know whoever owns the rights to
Good.
that play, and then have an agreement with that person before you can execute it. You remember I told you that for us to even try producing in the chest of a woman, we had to
Efoko
reach
Joma-
out to
yeah, the
Efoko
family.
Joma, and all that. And they told us it had gone to someone else already.
Okay.
So once you produce the property, you need to now understand and safeguard it so that people don't take snippets of it to go put on YouTube, monetize it, and all those things. So
Okay.
it's a bit more complicated that
than
you
the
need more
music,
time.
than the music world. It's quite complicated, right?
Oh, it is. You see, if you really want to do it and do it well,
Yeah.
sometimes even in your performance contract agreements that you have with your actors and all that, there are rights issues in there.
Oh.
Yeah, that you need to address and all that. Even as the same with acting. Till date, I earn royalties from Taxi Driver.
You do.
Yes, I do.
What they
From
call
Asok.
residuals?
Huh?
Is that what they call residuals? Something.
Yes, it's sharp, but it's
It
okay.
comes.
It comes.
It comes from where?
Yes, it comes. ASOC.
They pay you.
Yes. I received something about
How
a
much?
month or
How
two
much?
ago.
How much have you been
Oh,
getting?
it was nothing significant.
You mentioned
Oh,
100 Ghana, 200 Ghana cedis. Is it better than what Ghana gives the musicians?
I don't know. I'm not a musician. I don't know what
But
Ghana
you,
gives the
you don't know this industry.
know what
What are you talking about?
So the rights in theater, it's a whole different conversation.
Okay.
I must admit that over here it's not an aspect that we've really looked at.
Okay.
I mean, Latif has a lot of he does a lot of foreign stuff, so I
Good.
don't know how he handles the rights from that perspective. So maybe
How do you do that, Latif?
So I think that I work with the missions. So for
Oh,
instance,
okay.
with the Spanish play, I work through the Spanish embassy, led by the ambassador, His Excellency Javier Guterres. I mean, speak to the foreign ministry,
All right.
and then they do the necessary rights
On your
acquisition
behalf.
on our behalf, and then they bring it down here. I'm working currently on an Italian play by Luigi Pirandello, a Nobel Prize winner, and that's my next play actually.
Oh, wow.
The license on the 4th and 5th of May.
Okay.
And, the rights were secured by the Italian
the
embassy.
Italian embassy.
Yeah, so we're doing it in partnership with them.
Oh,
too, as well.
wow.
So
So May is gonna be.
Yeah, we have in the
pregnant
chest
with
in the
boys.
in the
Because
chest,
of
of a woman
is there.
on 3rd and 4th May,
yeah.
Then you're on 4th,
4th
and
and
5th.
5th.
4th, 5th, and 6th.
Okay.
And when is yours? June, right?
We are 1st, 2nd, 8th, and 9th of June. We are honoring the legendary Professor Martineau, so the oldest lecturer at the University of. He's still lecturing
He is still lecturing, yes.
Wow.
at the University of Ghana.
He is.
We are doing one of his pieces, The
Yes.
Legend of Akusika. And
okay.
guess what? Na Ashoko is making her directing debut on that play.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be directed by
Wow.
Na Ashoko. And Aduma, the musician,
Aduma.
Yeah.
is also making her stage debut on that play as
Mm.
Akusika.
Oh yeah.
Nice one.
So it's
I can't
it's going
wait
to be
see
epic.
that.
You should see it. Yes, and the team is crazy. It's got Tony Prince Tometi is on the team, so you should know what we intend to
Oh,
do. on
Tometi.
the stage.
Yeah.
And then we've got Cruz makeup, the gentleman who did the makeup for The Gods Are Not to Blame.
Yeah.
And then Prince Hilton is also on the team as well. That play is full of special effects, and we intend to take it. We want to blow Professor Martino's mind. Yeah, he won't recognize the script.
It's all about spectacle.
Yeah, we will blow his mind.
Interesting.
He will not recognize the script. In fact, when you watch that play, you won't believe you're watching it at the National Theatre.
Yeah.
And like I did with The Gods Are Not to Blame, if you come and watch it and you're not blown away, demand a refund.
Ah.
Hey.
Yo-
Hey.
Yes.
Hey.
I
Again.
I know we don't have too much time, but I would
Yeah.
have loved to delve into that aspect of theatre where film actors
Come on stage.
come on stage
Yeah.
for theatre
Yeah.
and the
Yes.
differences
Yeah.
in acting roles
Yeah.
when you play when you do film. and
Stage is always better and more
stage is
exciting.
always
Film
better
is easy.
and more exciting.
Stage
and
is
bit
more
difficult.
exciting.
Yes,
Stage is more exciting.
I am very, very happy with one thing, because I was worried about whether other parts of the country were experiencing plays, and from what Latif told me today,
Yeah.
at least it's made me very happy to know that he is underground.
Yeah, he's doing great.
He's doing
Latif is
submarine
great.
works, you know.
We are still looking for
Awesome.
somebody to be able to take our play around.
and I congratulate him. I've been so impressed with that.
Interesting. Joe 99.7 FM. Okay, this one says, I like your discussion. Big ups to you and your guests. I think with the cultural centers, especially with that of Takrady, the architecture needs serious attention.
All of
Heady
them.
Brains Theatre House here in the city tried having a show there. It wasn't easy. There were so many challenges that they are not dreaming of having another production there. I think the Creative Arts Ministry has a lot to do, and I wanted to suggest that theatre production should be toured around Ghana to get nationwide attention and interest.
Yes.
But you will ask yourself, do we have suitable auditoriums? Takrady, for instance, has a role to play in the evolution of theatre in Ghana, but till date, it's Akroma Plaza, a hotel that's been being used
And it's
for
so
productions.
inconvenient. It
It's not
This
like
is
the
Isaac Nketia
aesthetic,
listening from
you know,
Winneba. Says we have to get theatres in most of our regions, have productions in all the regions, road shows, etc., to grow the industry. Government has to invest in getting theatres all over Ghana, and I believe we can have back-to-back productions. Government's involvement is key. Kwame, you see the potential employment opportunities the creative arts industry has, yet unrealized because we are failing as Ghana to uphold the sector. JQ, we are part of the problem. We have had several of theatre practitioners close to the corridors of power, yet they have not advanced potentials in our industry. In growing a theatre audience, the industry hasn't connected to the vast population tier of students, social structures, spaces, and other forms of theatre. Policy is really important in the growth and development. Yeah, and by saying this, we are reminding you that on 3rd and 4th May, we're staging In the Chest of a Woman at the National Theatre. The rate is 150 Ghana cedis. You can buy your tickets via short code *713*33*21# or please call 05123 4586. Joy 99.7. Now, if you are a Christian in any area of leadership and you want more or you need more power of impact, then join the host and speaker, Archbishop Charles Ajinosari, and other seasoned speakers from Ghana, Prophet Nana Sakodia, Reverend Dr. Steve Wengam, Reverend Mrs. Vivian Ajinosari from Nigeria, Reverend Samuel O. Olubio, Apostle Richard Udo from Congo, Apostle Yves Castodu. And the theme is how to walk in the power of God. It will be a time of insights, inspiration, and impartation. The date is Monday, 29th April to Sunday, 5th May 2024. Time is 8:30 a.m., 5:30 p.m. Venue is Perez Dome, Jowlu Junction, Accra. For more information, contact 0548633650 or just go to www.sesummit.org. Tomorrow is Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Pentecost hour on Joe 99.7 FM with the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Eric Nyamiche, 1:30 p.m. Every Monday, 5:30 a.m. on Hits FM. Saturday, 7 a.m. on Joy Prime TV. So tune in every Sunday, Monday, Saturday as Apostle Nyamiche brings you life transforming truth that nourishes the soul, ignites passion, and restores hope in the nations. Church of Pentecost, we are possessing the nation for the Lord. Now, let me go on Zoom again and pick Chief Mumin's last words. We come in here to pick our last words as well. Yeah. Chief.
Yeah, I don't know how the last word sounds
Hey.
rather ominous. But
No,
I mean, it will be sacrilegious if I do not greet Uncle Ken. I didn't realize he was in the studio. So
You didn't?
Yes. And I concur. I don't know if you can see me on the
Chief.
screen. Yes.
Chief, is that a girl's
Okay.
bag behind you?
Yes, Chief.
Yes. Greetings. I said I don't know if you can see me on the screen, but
Which girl's bag is to the left?
$70 American haircut.
Uncle Ken, I see a lady's bag next to Chief.
Do you?
Oh
No,
no!
look to the
please.
left. Oh, okay. It's all right. It's all right.
That is his usual bag.
Shame on you all. Shame on you.
Anyway, so a great discussion so far. I know I missed a lot, but even the little that I've heard is really inspiring. I think that for us, our legacy, and I know Doc talked about the fact that we have to wear so many hats as creatives, as entrepreneurs, as producers, just to bring our productions to life. I think that our true legacy will lie in the kinds of institutions that we are able to build, right? Are we able to, if George Quay is no longer there, what is the future of Image Bureau and April Productions with Nash? What's the future of Glow Productions without Latif? What's the future of Bamboo Heritage without Latif? For me, that's really the true test, because we're in this for the long game. And we understand that, and let me also say, if Uncle Ebu White is not there, what is the future of Roverman? So really, what is our succession plan, and how do we build industries in such a way that once we have left, we will leave behind institutions, that are producing things the right way, and an industry that is better off than we came to meet it. I think that for us, that's our true test, that's our true challenge, how to create, institutions that will outlast us. And if we're able to do that, then we would have succeeded in handing over to the next generation a vibrant industry. I'm also hopeful that we can have an industry that attracts a lot of quality from our educational institutions. Doc will tell you that a lot of students that we train from the School of Performing Arts do not find themselves in the industry, they find themselves elsewhere, because really the industry is not vibrant and paying them enough to retain some level of talent. And trust me, there's amazing talent out there that if we're able to grow the industry and we are able to retain them, it as well supports the growth of what we are doing. Let me also extend my gratitude to all those who have supported us. GEPA, for example, we had a project with them, but we are rescheduling the performance, but the Dinkra International Art and Crafts Fair is still coming on. And there'll be other little performances that we do, but the main performance we had wanted to do, we want to really take our time and roll it out, but we'll be there to do other little performances. So we're very grateful to GEPA to follow us down. And to, Key Soap, our first production when we did Work by Jacket 2015, without Key Soap, we couldn't have done it. So yes, corporate Ghana has, also supported us in one way or the other, with all the producers here. Without them, we couldn't have done the little that we have done so far. But as Oliver Twist would say, we want more because we see greater potential in the work that we're doing. And I would just like to end on the note that, I think that when I come back down, I would definitely put my heads together with my colleagues in the studio to see how we can, really do a big theater festival. Maybe give ourselves some 2 years to plan, so that by that time we're all very comfortable and confident, in our spaces, but we then bring everything together. If we had like a database of 100,000 potential theater attendees or attendees that we can all tap into. At the end of the day, it benefits the industry, because I also know that there are people out there who are looking for information, who are looking for these things, and unless you are plugged into certain networks, you don't know what is happening. So if we have a system where people can also find out regular information, regular updates, we connect to the travel and tour agencies, connected to the idea of Broadway, because New York's tourism is really Broadway, right? If Accra is expecting or attracts a lot of tourism numbers, how do we convert a percentage of those numbers into the theater? So there's a lot of work, that administrative work too, that must also go into this. Maybe we have a think tank, in this regard. But I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm still here for a number of weeks, and I look forward to reconnecting when I come back.
Yo, we hear you. Thank you very much, Chief. We hear you. Enjoy, Enjoy.
Uncle Ken, greetings. Greetings from abroad.
Uncle Ken, your final words, Uncle Ken.
Yes, very, very, very insightful conversation this afternoon. I always wonder whether the playwrights also think that they can use women to sell the plays. We have in the chest of a woman.
Yeah, in the pants of a woman.
Of a woman.
Dubai or no sex.
Dubai or no sex.
But sex is not for only women. Though,
that sort of thing. And they tend to leave the men out half the time. So I would encourage the playwrights to also look at issues affecting men.
Okay.
So that can also be had.
But don't we have plays with such themes? Men.
Huh?
Uncle Ken is making a point. Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Every other play is about a man.
Every other play is about a man.
A man.
It's about everybody. It's about everybody.
Men don't die.
But those are not highlighted.
The gods are not to blame. It's all about a man.
Like the
Yeah.
woman bit.
Okay.
The man was actually.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Okay, let's reserve this for another day.
Another
So, Uncle Ken, finally.
Gods are not to blame.
The
was all
girls are
about
not
the
to
man.
blame. That's basically
Yeah.
that.
An inspector call.
Yes.
There's not a woman
Yeah.
inspector.
Yeah. Uncle Ken, finally.
I think that
Yeah.
the issue of the prices they charge for their productions
Yeah.
must be embraced by all.
Okay.
And seriously thought about.
All right.
Because if we need to help them grow, we can only do so by supporting them.
Good.
And I don't like the idea of George Quay, Latif, and all those folks giving away tickets to people.
Okay.
If I want to go and watch a play, George Quay will tell me, Uncle, Oba have a ticket market. Okay, but I will not push him.
Okay.
And I will secretly go behind and buy a ticket and go and watch the show. And then tell him, I saw your show. And that is my way of supporting him.
Thank
You know, but in this country, we always sit back expecting them to give us freebies to go and watch. When
Mami,
the cost
take
of
it,
production is astronomical. So,
I agree.
yeah.
I agree. Thank
That
you,
would be
Uncle
my
Ken.
parting shot.
Thank you very much, Uncle Ken. Dr. Ekuya Ekuma.
I'm rounding up, am I?
Yes, please.
Well, thank you very much for this platform, allowing us to have this kind of conversation. I think my takeaway would be that we have to do research. What I'm learning, having heard from Chief Moomin, having heard from
Latif.
Mr. Latif Abubakar, having heard from George, who are practicing. They're in the thick of the soup,
Right.
and it is hot pepper soup that they are drinking. That they've done the research, and that we can't afford to rest on our laurels and think that making the content is enough, and we expect that the audience will come. There's work that still needs to be done, so I can understand why Latif will give us 3 out of 10, because we all need to come together to do that work. Chief mentioned administrative assistance or support, apart from the monetary support that is needed.
Exactly.
And we need people who understand and value the performing arts to come from that private sector. We also, within the sector already, have our own work cut out in terms of researching and knowing what we need to do to bring that audience in, because we know without our audience, we will just be performing to ourselves.
Great.
So we have to value the amount of work we need to put in and let people know the different processes that go into creating that. It might be an hour show or an hour and a half show, and you're thinking, oh, why do I have to pay 150 for it? But if you realize how many people are involved in bringing that 1 hour 30 minutes or 2 hour show to you, you will then understand that you paying 150 or 200 now, that you are just supporting by dropping a little bit into that pot.
Good. George Quay.
Let me start by thanking all my teachers, especially Ikua and the entire team of the School of Performing Arts, and throughout my entire educational life, everybody that has supported me in one way or the other, and all those that have been supporting our theatre productions, and also to wish my brother Latif Abubakar a happy birthday! Happy birthday to you, Latif, and happy birthday to Gabia Sarachidako as well. Yes, it is. It is.
No, I bet not headings. No. Oh, happy birthday to you, Abubakar Latif. Yeah. Have a good one. Is there any party ongoing anywhere that we can join later?
Even though today's my birthday, the party will be on the 4th, 5th, and 6th of May. You know, that's my next play. I always say that, you know, I accidentally have, because of
Yeah,
how we
please.
started our
Yeah.
plays,
It coincides.
yeah, the
all the
marketing
time.
of my play coincides with
Your
my
birthday.
So on
Okay.
my birthday, I tell people that if you have any wish for me, buy tickets.
That's all.
If you have any present for me, buy tickets. The license is happening on the
Buy
4th,
tickets.
5th, and 6th of May. Buy tickets.
George Quay, I catch you. Please finish.
I don't recall where. Oh, I was thanking
Yeah.
all the teachers that I've had. All
When I
those
cut in with the song.
Doc Ikua and the entire teaching team of the School of Performing Arts
Yeah.
while I was there, and all those that are still there, and then of course all those that have supported our production still now. We're truly, truly, truly grateful.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. A big thank you to Chief Mumin, poet and playwright, to you, Uncle Ken, broadcaster, George Quay, team lead, image bureau.